This is
And
gonna take a while.
we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your Odin Division Finals for Season 7. We're getting back into it. I am the Crowned Hound, joined by Snooze on your casting and analysis. And we go ahead and let the teams know that we are all good to go for Game 3. Set is tied at 1-1 apiece. And we will not stall any longer. Good to go.
I think we've seen the best of both teams, which is good because what can one team do over the other to like get that edge? And I still think it comes down to the supporting cast. I think
agree.
Joey, the first game, really showed up for me, and I think the second game, I think Godson and Munchie really stepped up to support the rest of the guys. Unfortunately, Joey didn't really have the same performance on the King Arthur that he did the Cthulhu, but I think overall it was just really hard, with your jungler being so far behind like that, it's hard to really do much on the King Arthur, especially getting his blue stripped away a couple times. It was a little difficult, so.
Alrighty, just making sure everything is set. Alrighty. We should be getting into picks and bans at any moment here, which it looks like we are in. Set immediately taken off the board from Kittens with Mittens. I've seen Skillsy pilot this set. I know Royal doesn't play it all that often, but I know Skillsy loves this pick.
Unfortunately, Skillsy is the support, so I don't know if we'd see a set support.
I'm about it, though.
Oh, wait, actually, interesting to note, Raindrops is actually back in the game. So, that means Skillsy is playing carry, which means we could see, some different bans here.
Cthulhu taken off the board from Kittens. That's exactly what you were saying. They just don't let Joey.
But now if you're Kittens, since Raindrops is back playing support, do you ban the Khepri? Because that's pretty much what he plays, is Khepri. Are you willing to ban away the Khepri? Again, both teams don't play Persephone, so you're not really worried about that pick. But you can't be worried about other picks. On the side of Glads, they could be worried about the Tsukiyomi pick. On the side of KWM, they could be worried about a Nemesis pick. A Nemesis really likes that guy a lot. So what now since Raindrops is here, it kind of
the first two games, the strategy you have for the first two games kind of goes out the board, and now you have to take in another variable that wasn't present before. So I mean, this set, it's best of 3 now. We're gonna see how Gladiators can kind of respond to having flame drops in the lineup, and how Gladiators can respond to the extra variable. As Khepri is immediately picked up by Godson, a pick ban like you were saying.
So to take away the Nuwa, which is a Zerg favorite, knowing that Zerg lost on the Thoth, probably going to go back to another pick that he enjoys playing, which is the Nuwa. I like what Gladiators does. They take away the Ymir, but I almost think Kids with Mittens wanted them to ban Ymir so they can pick Khepri, because Ymir is a pretty strong pick into Khepri. Now you take away that option. You're taking away the Khepri from Raindrops, which hurts their overall play style. And Ymir's not available, so Raindrops isn't going to play that, which I don't believe Raindrops plays anyway. I don't think he's a Ymir player. I think when the Khepri is banned, he tends to rely on, I believe, Sobek. I know he plays Fenrir a little bit, which Fenrir does have a good matchup in the Khepri. So we'll see what he goes for, but Rama being locked in, and there's the Sobek.
Good call.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, because Raindrops is new to the role, he does have a very limited god pool. I mean, that's to be expected, right? So he does rely on the Khepri and Sobek a lot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that means that the other team has to ban them away, so you can, maybe pull out a spicy pick. So Rama being taken away from Rome, they had enough of that. None of that. So
I mean, we saw him pilot the On Her in game 1. We all know that he has a great Uller. I mean, he loves that Uller pick as well. I think Rome is easily the spiciest player on this team. He's the one that brings the most kind of different plays. Like, yeah, not necessarily your flavor of the month type of deal. It's kind of just whatever he feels like playing. Now, with it being finals and not like a regular season game or anything like that, you might be taking it an added level of seriousness, but we'll see what he decides to pick up here. Is Nike insta-locked for Wally. Still thinking about that second slot that they do have. Who do you think they pick up here? You think they pick up something for Teddy? Do you think they prioritize a little Munchie on something that he might be favored on?
Tsukiyomi, and that's what
Tsukiyomi.
Tsukiyomi was banned away from Teddy game 1 and game 2, but they're going to go back to the Robin, which, again, good pick against the Sobek. You can immune that. And Rama has a hard time getting away from Robin as well. So, I mean, go back to what works for you.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
This Nike pick just confuses me. Like, I don't understand why you aren't willing to go back to the Sun Wukong as the Aphrodite's pick. If they don't ban Kali here, I think this is going to be rough.
Kali, Bakasura, or Longshin. Like, you take your pick, because you know Royal's looking for one of those.
KWM has to take Kali away from here. They love running Aphrodite Kali. That's like their favorite, strategy. They love picking that. Regardless of if you think you can beat Kali, you still ban Kali. There's no reason not to. They take away the Kali. I would not be surprised to see even an Erlang or Bakasura ban. And look at that. We see a nice little turn to Agni here. And we do see the Nemesis ban. So that was the other one outside of Erlang. I like this Agni ban a lot because not only is Agni like one of Munchie's like best gods, but it also spreads anti-heal ridiculously well. So taking that away, it hurts. It hurts Aphrodite. Honestly, we could see Munchie opt for the Chang'e this game. Maybe. I want to see.
I like the Chang'e especially into the Afro and the Sobek pickup. A lot of survivability on the pick. You do spread anti-heal. I think she can reach 90% with a Divine Ruin in her 3, having the anti-heal already built into it. So we'll see there. Sun Wukong is picked up into the Nike matchup for the solo lane.
And that's still a pretty good matchup for Chang'e to go against. Not bad against Sun Wukong whatsoever. I kind of wanted to see the Rat pick. I don't know if like Joey's going to like save that for like dire measures or if he's just waiting for that Guan Yu matchup to pick the Ratatasker, but they are going to take away the Thoth. Thoth is another good pick. Obviously, Thoth sucks against Sun Wukong. I think we saw that the last game. He struggled against Sun Wukong, but Thoth is great against Aphrodite. She just can't get near him to do damage. It's kind of the same thing against Chang'e, where healing gods like Afro and Chang'e tend to not be able to have that long a range, so it's tough for them to get near a long-range character like the Thoth. So I like what they've gone for. I will say Thoth can struggle against Pele, which they pick, and the Sobek. So we'll see what their plan is for dealing with this Pele. And Mr. Royal back on the Pele.
Piloting the Pele. I mean, it's scary plays coming out of him game 1. We'll see if he can kind of run that back and set the precedent for these last couple of games. And it all went through Royal game 1, and they've essentially drafted a team that follows up with that very well. I mean, you don't have the Raijin backing you up this time, but instead you have Skillsy now on your other late game hyper carry, reprising his role as the ADC. And I mean, you have a Sobek there as well for follow-up, and I can't ask for anything. You have 2 knockups, you have a cripple, you have a multiple stuns, and if Wukong is there, it's just added CC chains onto whoever they decide to target. So a godsend on this Khepri has to play lights out if they don't just want to get W keyed out.
And not to, hurt on Armor Wolf or anything, because I think he had a good couple games, but this is their actual team. And this is what they've been playing with. So the synergy is going to be significantly different between these players. Moving Skillsy back over to the carry role instead of support and having raindrops in the support. This is their starting 5. So now we really get to see what Gladiators is made of. But on the other side of Kittens with Mittens, outside of the Nike, which I just prefer him not to play it. Like I think the Sunwoo pick would have been perfectly fine. to run back over the Nike, but that's just me. I know he really likes Nike, and it's a comfort pick for him. So going back to comfort's fine, but it just seemed like he made so much more of an impact on Sun Wukong, and you're still playing against a god that has like low escapability, like a Thoth. You're playing against a Rama, who's kind of in a similar boat as Thoth. So interesting. Go back to the Nike. But I think Kittens with Mittens in general does a much better job of dealing with Pele. You've got the hard CC that you were missing when you played Umoja. You've got that on Khepri. You've got the long-range poke from Thoth that can get away from Pele if she tries to dive him. And you've got Teddy on something pressure picked, so he's not going to get burned when he plays Kali, right? So it's a significantly better draft to deal with this Pele pick, which is what they needed.
Agreed. Yeah. No, the Umoja in game 1 didn't really do anything to peel, except for maybe using River's Rebuke. But we just saw Mr. Royal, whenever that happened, just turn and burn on top of Godsend with the rest of his team. So a little bit of a different strategy coming in from Kittens with Mittens. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They give Teddy back this Raven. He played very well, went flawless in game 2. And we'll see if Wally can get out to that early lead like he saw in game 1 with this Nike. I mean, he did have a lead for the first 15 minutes there and just kind of fell apart whenever those objective fights did happen. So we will see.
Can you hit the items real quick?
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So the Gladiators definitely does like this, like good start in mid that works for them. Using the hog on the red buff. Gladiators also has the pressure over here in the dual lane. No surprise there. Rama has significantly better clear than the Jingwei. They're gonna head over to these oracles to get a little bit extra farm. If I'm Kittens with Mittens right now over in the dual lane, what you want to do to counter this is you want to step up to this wave. You want to fast clear this and then step up to their purple buff and make them walk away around the purple buff. And hopefully they miss 1 or 2 minions, which helps, you guys stay even. But looks like they missed that opportunity, unfortunately. Weren't able to really get much. As we're back to the farm game. I expect to see, like, as the game goes on, more sparks are gonna fly. Nothing crazy in the build category in particular. I believe Zerg is going to rush that Rod of Tahuti, which works really well with the Aphrodite healing. Whenever, because of the passive on Rod of Tahuti, her healing is amplified when her chained person is below half HP. But Teddy making an early rotation to the dual lane, spotted out by a ward being placed down, so nothing going to happen off of that. That gives Mr. Royal a very slight advantage in his clear rotation, so maybe he can make a play off of that, knowing that Teddy hasn't cleared that speed bump just yet.
Wally already sitting at about 50% HP here. A lot harder to deal with Sun Wukong poke. As the stun comes out, a couple of autos in the cudgel will drop him down to about 15%. As Lil Munchie will just hit a back really quick, getting these tier 2 boots.
And because Wally was so poked out, they knew Teddy was behind on his rotation. They opt to go for this blue buff invade. Pele full HP, full mana, has the T2 boots available. Wally's only half, and they are going to steal this away. And
Mr. Raul tries to do a little bit of turn and burn. Nike jump will get him out of dodge.
I think all around, Wally is a solid solo laner. But the one thing that Wally does struggle with is when his blue buff gets invaded. Consistently, when his blue buff has gotten invaded, he's gotten behind off of it, and he's really struggled to make plays. And if it's consistent blue invades, like if they go back for that blue invade again, which I'd be surprised if they don't, as Little Munchie trying to make a play onto Zerg, will he use the ultimate? Oh. But Zerg actually uses his ultimate expecting Munchie, and well done by Munchie to hold the ultimate that long. I almost thought he was going to ult there, so nice job.
Great bait. Great bait. And now that opens a window for Teddy on this Raven. You can now successfully hard dive an Aphrodite, and we're still pretty early into the game to where a possible tier 1 dive might come out just to secure that first blood. We'll see what Teddy and Munchie decide to kind of go for. If Godson hits level 5 within the next about 30 seconds, that's going to make that tier 1 dive a lot more prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy on the left side of this map now. If you are Gladiators, you have Royal reprising the role of the Pele. Already kind of a slower start than we saw in game 1. But he is kind of even keel right now. Has the full boots online, hitting him back. Probably going to pick up tier 2 of that mace. Nope, just backs for a century ward. Never mind what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm talking about. But this Aphrodite pick, do you like the Afro pick into a Khepri, into a Raven? I mean, if this game goes long enough, right, the Afro will eventually start to make up kind of the deficit that we normally see Afros have within the first about 15 minutes of the game. Because if an Afro ult is up, it stops an entire just hard dive in its tracks, which we saw last game. Teddy just likes to go balls to the walls, and with the Khepri ult on him now, it's just going to make that easier. But the Afro is essentially a hard counter to that. Do you feel like the Afro is going to be the game changer?
For me, Aphrodite, like, I think a weak point of Aphrodite, obviously, is, I think, just damage in general. This guy just doesn't really provide you that mage damage that you're looking for, right? But what she does is she amplifies her team. She basically makes her team better in a sense, as well. He's getting dove under his T1 here. Jumps over Livid Joey, who isn't tanking this tower because of the minions, but nice too to stop the aggression, as Livid Joey kind of having his way in this lane right now, and that's just what Sun Wukong passive does to you, man. I mean, that hits so hard. The power spike that he gets is ridiculous, as Mr. Rodoyle making him gank onto Rome, who has to ult away, barely survive.
Misses 1, misses 2, misses 3, as Mr. Royal will hit the blink. Khepri ult does come out, and he is tanking tower. That's a root into tower. Godson picks up first blood from the failed dive of Mr. Royal. Beautiful play by Rome.
Just got a little too greedy there. Just too greedy. They got to back up there as soon as they, were unfortunate to get that kill. But
that's what Khepri ult does, right? I mean, Afro and Khepri essentially have the exact same game plan in this game, is to stop the hard dives. As soon as Khepri ult comes out, Mr. Royal says, all right, I'm just going to run back through. And Godson, just very, very good mechanics, lands the root inside the tower, doesn't go for the grab or anything. He knows he's already dead, so.
But back to this, like, idea of the Aphrodite. I agree. I think Aphrodite really hurts their dive. Especially, nice pluck by Sobek to pull the beads, and he's going to ult here. Khepri has no ultimate here.
Shell.
Does use the shell. Oh, you got to go in there? I don't know. If he waits out the shell, he picks up the kill on the Munchie and probably makes his escape, knowing that Zerg still has his ultimate available, but a little bit of a missed opportunity by Raindrops, but Aphrodite does stop the engage. And we saw the last game, or the first game on this Nike, that Wally had a significantly hard time diving the backline on this Nike pick. And, whether that was because Teddy was behind for a majority of the game, and if it works better this game, I still think it's going to be difficult for Wally to find dives onto the backline. So now it comes to, when you have this Aphrodite, you got this healing on the backline, and you can really fight as a 5-player team, and I think they have the comp to do that. Sobek can, really create a lot of space for his team using the Sobek ult, can easily engage off of the plucks as well. Good chase down with this team. You've got if Zerg hooks up to Pele, she ults in, uses the back off as Livid Joey picks up the solo kill on to Wally, who didn't, so both had to use their ultimates there, and Wally does fall. So
Sun Wukong, man. I mean, we saw it game 1, and I'm with you. I don't know if insta-locking this Nike is the play. Like you said, I like to see a little bit more damage come out from him. I mean, we saw him pilot the Sun Wukong last game, played it lights out, was able to dive backline effectively. And if you're playing this Nike, I don't think it's necessarily the Nike pickup. I think it's the Nike build. And we saw game 1, he likes to go a lot tankier on this Nike, a lot more of a healthy build.
Very healthy, which makes sense, but like Nike's in such a weird spot right now. You pick Nike to win lane, rotate, but if you're losing lane, what's the point of picking Nike? You know what I mean? Like it's a tough one for me to wrap my head around, unfortunately. Not that Wally can't play this god whatsoever. I mean, there's a reason he's picking this god. He's comfortable on it, and he thinks he can make plays. And there's no doubt that he could probably show up in this game still, despite being behind right now. It's just in the past, especially the first game, he had difficulty diving, and there's no denying that. So what can he do to do differently this game? And I think it just comes down to, whether how he played or how he built, maybe just going for, more aggression. I don't know, but something needs to change from game one to this game for him to make this Nike pick to work.
Honestly, if you're playing this Nike pickup, putting him, as we do see a pluck come through, knock up, Godson falling to about 50% already. Capriol is used on top of himself as Teddy and Divine Judgment are both Teddy's ult and Divine Judgment are both used. After ult will completely nullify the entirety of Divine Judgment. Somersault Cloud will go up, looking for the kill onto Godson. Little Munchie falling to about 20%. Munchie looking for a little bit of return damage as the clone is just running at him. Almost gets the kill. As Wally next door is the sole survivor at this tier 1. And that's going to be an early Gold Fury start on the side of Glads.
And this is also what Afro does. Who cares if you have half HP when you have an Aphrodite on your team? Livid Joey creating space. Already half HP for Wally. And that Gold Fury is going to be secured. So fast-paced last game from KWM, but this Gold Fury 10 minutes in, that's the fastest of this set. And I think we're gonna see Livid Joey did what he did the first game. And the other thing about this, solo lane matchup too, if you're willing to pick Thoth, wouldn't you pick or ban the god that counters Thoth? You know what I mean? Like if you're going to pick Thoth, in my eyes, I'm banning Sun Wukong or I'm picking Sun Wukong. So I don't know if they really thought that far ahead, or if Munchie just thought he could deal with Sun Wukong. But that god is fantastic against Thoth. He really punishes gods that have no CC immunity. And Thoth is super easy to lock down as they try to pull this Pyromancer, but Mr. Royal is here. Pluck being used onto Mr. Royal is getting super low. His Aphrodite is nowhere near him, but it doesn't seem to matter as Livid Joey blinks in. Nice damage on Munchie, who actually picked up the kill with the Divine Judgment onto Royal. Kepri doesn't have his ultimate just yet, and Munchie might
Somersault Cloud.
He's got to hit this one.
Does hit it. Does land the 2, though. Teddy forced to ult out as Wally is looking for something. After ult is popped as Livid Joey will walk out. All for all, 1 for 1. Mr. Royal and Lil Munchie kind of trade there. I think Glads take the better of that engagement.
I agree. Mr. Royal, unfortunately, dies there. That was a really good play by Lil Munchie onto Mr. Royal to pick up that kill. But that gives Zerg time to get online with this Aphrodite. Teddy had to run away anyway. He was super low, so he had to back. So you're not really losing too much farm in the jungle. And interesting to note, Skillsy actually already grabbed the Rome's tower and dual M T1 tower. So,
and we did see Rome rotate to that fight as well. So he gave up that lane pressure in order to try and maybe win that team fight, go for a counter objective. As we do see Teddy and Lil Munchie getting pressured at the red buff, they do end up securing their own red buff. Romult is used, lands 1, lands 2, misses the 3rd. Divine Judgment, I believe, was also used there. Kind of back them off, and they didn't secure their own red buff. I am so sorry. It does look like Gladiators will be able to pick up that invade. A lot more of calculated play happening from both of these teams now. It is a lot more of a give and take happening. 4 kills at 13 minutes. This is the lowest kill count we've seen so far at this current minute mark, but we're already seeing a 4K gold lead on the side of Gladiators with the invades that are happening. The objectives already picked up, and a couple of those kills happening at just the right time in order to give them enough pressure to farm the map.
And, we mentioned the first game. At this point, I believe Kids with MIttens was down like 1K gold, right? And we said, that's fine. You have a Kali, you have a pretty decent late game. In this game, being down 4K at this point is not fine because there's an Aphrodite on the other team. And Aphrodite's early game is pretty weak. So once she gets past that early game, which she already is past at this point, it's going to become significantly harder to kill her, basically. Godson's only at level 9. He's going to get toasted every single time he walks up in this lane. And it becomes so difficult to kill this Aphrodite when she has a lead. He actually doesn't go for the Ratatouille. He opts for the Chronos Pendant to get more healing. I prefer the Ratatouille, to be honest. It gives more power to amplify that healing. Yeah, you get more cooldown from the Chronos Pendant, but I think you just benefit a lot more from having that raw power because you are going to get, if he had gone the blue boots, you would have already gotten 20% from mages and blue. So, but it looks like, I don't know what he's going third item, but that might be a rod. So, really likes that tree apparently.
Right? Lost artifact tree, man. It works. And kind of piloting here, if you're Kittens with Mittens, right? How do you come back into this game? Do you look for picks into solo? You try and just get Livid Joey's Somersault Cloud out of the way? Do you look for kills onto Skillsy over there in the duo lane? Or do you just try and force kind of a 3v3 skirmish and just hope for the best in this mid-tier fight? Or do you kind of go for a ballsy play? Do you force the 5-man grouping on an objective? Do you go for the early grouping on this Gold Fury and look for a pick? What route are you going down here?
Right now, I need here's this team fight needs to start off with Somersault Cloud needs to be down. If they are going to win these team fights, this Sun Wu needs to be down. Because regardless of if he goes in or not, with that ultimate being down, it means he has to play more passive. Like Sun Wukong is a very escapable god, but he's not going to use his dash willy-nilly knowing that his ultimate is down. So that's the first thing. That's the first step. The second step is you need to apply anti-heal throughout the team fight using this Curse Stomp that this Nike picks up, and then dive this Aphrodite, but they are getting dove. Munchie already brought down to half HP, so is Teddy. He's getting dove by the Sun Wukong that we just mentioned, and he's running a tear. Here comes the Somersault Cloud. Will kill Munchie. Nice Aegis, actually, but
and
he will
Zerg.
die. Zerg picks up the kill on the back end, and that's a double kill for Livid Joey. So once again, it seems like this happened the first game. Wally got out-rotated, and his team got toasted for it. And that's a call that needs to be made. Like it really is. Like Wally needs to tell his team, "I'm not there. Don't fight. Like don't even step up to the Gold Fury." And they do end up getting burned for it.
And Wally, something needs to happen with these rotations. I honestly, if he's in that fight, it stops the Pele aggression, at least for a little bit. You kind of force the split in the team fight. You either dive the Afro hard and you force the link to be broken and force Mr. Royal to kind of be out in the middle of no man's land. But Wally not making these rotations on a god like Nike is very detrimental, and it leads to exactly what we're seeing.
Especially not only that, but he's the one that has the cursed Ankh. Like you need that if you are ever taking a team fight against Gladiators. You need that cursed Ankh in that team fight. Not having that is a great way to lose a team fight right off the rip. And I don't know their comms, but if he's not making the call out that he's not gonna be there in time, then his team needs to back. Like there needs to be some kind of communication there. Raindrops actually picks up a Sunder, which is a fantastic pick here against the Nike. That just makes his job 10
and
times harder.
it's already upgraded as well. That is an upgraded Sunder.
Mm-hmm. So again, that just makes Wally's job 10 times harder to dive his backline. And
kind of a flashbacks of game one. Royal has been the pace setter. He's the one diving in. He's the one dumping a lot of the damage onto the carries. We did see him dive Teddy almost religiously in game one, and it's happening again. Teddy's being so pressured by this Pele pick, already 2-level deficit, and hasn't really found any momentum that he was able to find in game two. There's no trades happening. There's no ganking a Sun Wukong at this point. I mean, he's just too healthy. He has a lot of the damage. I mean, he's already got Sledge online. He's got Pridwin now up, and he's getting that tier 1 tower, and he's sitting at a healthy level 17, 4-0. Livid Joey playing Sun Wukong very well. As Wally gets caught out as the Ankh does get forced. We might see the Sunder. Sunder does miss. And all in all, I think that's a win for Kitten, or not Kittens, for Glads.
Interesting Pride win pickup. I mean, Pride win only works off of defense, and he has no defense, so it doesn't really do much. But he does use it for the damage off of the slow, and just that like tiny shield. It makes a huge difference in any team fight. He's definitely going to be building protections from here. But honestly, if I'm Livid Joey, I'm going a significantly more damaging build this game. I mean, you know that you've got that safety net with the Aphrodite. You have 3 shells on your team, which is just ridiculous. You've got your beads, your Sun Wukong, your escapability is fantastic. And to be honest, the other team's shred. Like if I'm killing a Thoth before he's able to do anything because of how much damage I'm doing, that's a win. Like if I'm trading my life out for a Thoth and wasting so much resources onto me, that's a win for me. Because you've got this, 5v5 Aphrodite healing comp, as Rome's most likely going to die here. The Rama snipes do connect, and
that's tier 2 tower over in the duo side, taking 5 members on this left-hand lane. What will they elect to do? Is this Phoenix pressure? Or do you think they make the rotation over to mid and go for that tier 2 in mid as well?
They definitely don't go for Phoenix here. They don't have Fire Giant. Right now,
this is a reset.
I'm running to fire right now. Jingwei ultimate is down. He didn't use relics, but that ultimate is still impactful for him getting away. You have a fat lead right now. I mean, they are up 10k gold. Robin's only level 15. Thoth is only level. They are just not going to be doing enough damage to kill anybody. The Sunder is coming up too. Nike's not going to be able to make an impact. Like, they are in the driver's seat right now, and it is very tough in my eyes for them to really lose this game at this point. So we'll see what they ought to do. It looks like they are heading over to this Fire Giant, which is a good call. I mean, Jingwei is going to be here, and she does have relics. No ultimate available, though, so call me crazy, but, we have mentioned the junglers a lot, but it seems like the solo laners, almost like whatever solo laner seems to make more of it. It seems to, like, the team seems to be in the driver's seat. I don't know. Like, the first game, Liv Joey played fundamental smite on that Cthulhu and created so much space that his team was able to do whatever he wanted. The second game, Wally had fantastic dives onto Thoth, wasn't able to let Zerg do. Like, Zerg couldn't do anything because of the Sun Wukong. And then this game, Joey's doing exactly what Wally did on the Sun Wukong. So,
with that being said, not to knock the solo laners at all, I think they're both playing very well. Wally looking very shaky on the new, or not the new wall. What am I talking about? On the Nike as of late, but all of this early game pressure is very, very stim based off of the amount of pressure that the junglers have. Royal is able to run at people, sets the rest of the team behind because of the amount of pressure he does bring. We see him knocking everyone low at the beginning of team fights, and it allows Livid Joy just to dive the backline for free. If all of their actives are down just because Royal decides, hey, I want to go in now, that's a free win for Livid Joy, just do whatever he wants, as it does look like this tier 1 over in solo will fall. But we saw it from Teddy. We saw it from Teddy in game 1. He makes those couple of rotations over to the solo lane, picks up a couple of kills, does set Wally ahead, and it just allows him to kind of run at whoever he wants to run at. And I think it's a trade-off, right? The junglers do the easy work and the backpack work for the first 20 minutes of this game, and it just allows the solo laners to kind of piggyback off of that and take it for the next 20 minutes. And we've only seen one game go past 40 minutes in this set so far, and it was game 1. We'll see if Kittens with Mittens can make something happen, maybe come up with a miracle play and get them back in this game. 10k gold is a lot to deal with, especially only 22 minutes in. And
it's interesting to me that Gladiators is willing to play so passive right now. I mean, they got the gold fade, but they lost a tower and a pyro. And they're up, like you said, they're up 10k. That is a very steep hill to climb for Kittens with Mittens, and I really don't think they have the comp to do it, and they don't really have the items in these fights. So it's interesting to me that Glad is not playing aggressive, but Mr. Royal said, I want to play aggressive, gets the shell out of Godsend. He's able to walk away, but that's an important relic being down, and they're just going to heal up with this Aphrodite healing. Godsend's already dropped down to 3/4 HP. Summer Cold Assault Cloud is used, but Rome has to back here, and that could be the opportunity for Glags. But like I mentioned, that Somersault Cloud has to be down for Kittens with Mittens to win any kind of fight. So that being down, and all of Kittens with Mittens ults being available is.
And for me here, all eyes are on Teddy. We need to see what he's able to do. I mean, with Somersault Cloud being down, you didn't get Afro ult, and Kepri ult is still up. So I mean, Teddy has a free dive here if Godsend, who isn't around at all, never mind, as it doesn't look like all eyes are on Teddy as he's trying to make a mad dash. Whoop whoop, that's the sound of the police, as he will use the blink and get out of the dodge as Wally is going in. Just a little bit of pressure, as it does look like the Fire Giant dance is still happening. Just doing a little bit of a tango.
Both ultimates for Glad coming up right now. So KWM's either going to make a move now or give it up, and they looks like they're trying to make a move, and Glad wants those ultimates to be available. Somersault Cloud is now up, waiting for Mr. Royals. Probably got like 10 seconds, and it just now is now available. So Robin's blink is down and the shell is down from Khepri.
Yeah, an interesting fact from Robin Flares over there. 2 onks coming out on the side of Kittens with Mittens. Both of them upgraded as well. That we do see. One on Godsend and one on Wally. Do you think those two onks are warranted here, or do you think you just need one on one of those frontliners?
I think so. I think, having the onk available at all times is a necessity, especially if one of your tanks dies, gets picked. You need it on if you have any of winning a team fight.
With that being said, though, if one of your tanks dies at the beginning of a team fight with the onk being down, does the second onk really come into play? Because then Gladiators can just run at you. I mean, if they're not... We've seen the last couple of team fights, Gladiators get off to really early picks. They're creating pressure. And with that being said, Mr. Royal is able to dive. I mean, the Afro ult coming out, able to just keep him alive and keep doing what he's doing. Do you really think the onks are making that big of a difference? We saw Wally use it in the 3-man gank that he happened, and it didn't stave off. It just created time.
My idea is there's 2 things about these 2 cursed onks, right? The first one being Khepri's going to be on your backline, and Nike's going to be on their backline. Typically, these 2 cursed onks aren't going to meet each other. The Khepri is using his cursed onk for the Sun Wukong and maybe the Afro healing on the Pele, but also the Pele, lifesteal. And on the other end, Nike's going to be using hers for the Afro healing on herself, and lifesteal from Skillsy and whatever lifesteal that Raindrops magically pulls out on the Sobek. So you've got the cursed onk for both sides of the fight, but not only that, but remember when Odin was really good, and this is the best example. When Odin was really good, people were buying 2 Phantoms, and it wasn't because they needed both Phantoms in the team fights. It's because they had that Phantom at all times available. If a tank died, if the Odin uses ult, as Wally just gets plucked into damage.
There's one onk down.
Cursed onk down, and
Rom up in the air.
Wally is so low, still trying to tank this fight. Teddy's running away for his life. Skillsy will pick him up, and Wally's shield has now been depleted, and he's gonna fall here to Zerg as Live Joey just creating space does a ton of damage to little Munchie, and Gladiator's just gonna sustain and grab this fire giant.
And see, to me, that's when the cursed onks kind of don't really work. I mean, you're so far behind at this point. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a defensive relic coming out of either one of them. Maybe a sprint as well. I mean, they do have a lot of slows on the side of Gladiator, so getting that sprint. I mean, Mr. Royal has a slow, Skillsy has a slow, Sobek's ult has a slow. I think Afro's 2 has a slow. So I would have liked to see one cursed onk and then maybe a bit of more utility relic coming out on the side of Kittens with Mittens, because I don't think the 2 cursed onks on either one of the dives that you're having with this far behind is doing anything. And Khepri ult is popped. Somersault Cloud does pop it.
Live Joey just ran Munchie down. Phoenix does fall on the right side of the map. Gladiators picked that one up. Moving on to the mid lane here, and like you mentioned, I mean, regardless of this cursed onk situation, there has not been a single team fight that Kittens with Mittens has looked even close to winning. I mean, they just they fall right on their face, just flat, and I don't know if it's a comp thing or it's just the execution of it, but they are really struggling to get anything going in these team fights, and they are incredibly far down in gold. Gladiator's going to pick up this Gold Fury, and I don't expect this game to go super long. I mean, I think Kittens with Mittens have a pretty decent defense comp, but it is the way these team fights have been going. It just doesn't. I don't see them coming back.
16k gold deficit 20 minutes into the game. 6 kills separating the teams. But if you are Kittens with Mittens, I think at this point you're looking for game 4, right? I think game 3, you're just trying to survive. You're trying to look for maybe a miraculous play. One of them makes the wrong decision and you jump on it. But I think at this point, your mind's already looking to the future, right? Because I think if you stay in this game, in this mindset, you start to get a little depressed. I mean, everybody on this team doesn't really seem tilt worthy. None of them are very tilting individuals. They always keep a clear head. Now, we haven't seen Kittens with Mittens in this position other than these finals. They have played from behind 2 games out of the 3 that we're seeing. So it is kind of an awkward position for them. So with that being said, I honestly think your mind is looking into game 4. You're saying, what do we need to ban? I think the Pele ban needs to happen, or the Pele pick needs to happen. Mr. Royal has set the pace every single time in any engagement he's in. We saw the Sobek pluck just straight into Pele damage, just set the pace for that entire fight. And I honestly think if you're not letting Teddy pick up this Pele, you need to ban it.
Not only that, but like what Livid Joey has gone for in this build is what I would like to see almost every Sun Wukong go in their build. I really like what he's gone with. I mean, you can see he's miles above anybody on the PD charts. I mean, obviously that's a little bloated from the laning phase, but in general, the amount of damage he does to Munchie just doesn't get an opportunity to like do anything in these fights. He's got to run away. The instant Sun Wukong blinks on him, he's out. Like, he either has to use relics, and then at that point, he's going to get toasted by a Pele, and that's exactly what Joey's doing here. Look, and now he's just going to go up to the Somersault Cloud and say, okay, I'm going to stand here, and like, there's just nothing they can do about it. Kittens with Mittens are going to most likely fall here. Skillsy picks up a kill.
And Mr. Royal will find the solo kill and the mid Phoenix. Teddy will die. Blink comes in. Knockup is a little too early as Mr. Royal does get a dive in. Rome will take the return kill, but all 3 Phoenixes down. 3 members alive from Kittens with Mittens. Can they defend long enough? As Skillsy very healthy. Zerg also very healthy. Full mana as well as the Titans falling very quickly. Gladiators win game 3. 1 game away from securing these finals and being crowned your Season 7 champions. We'll see what Kittens with Mittens can do. Can they answer back?
I think Livid, like, I know Mr. Royal has looked, like, obviously great, but we expect that from Mr. Royal.
That's fair.
Livid Joey, on the other hand, has played so well. Like, just so well. I mean, obviously the second game, he had a really rough time, but his whole team had a rough time. Like, there's no looking at that game and saying, oh, he was the reason they lost. You know what I mean? Like, they just had a tough time. The first and third game, he's literally been playing like fundamental solo lane smite, and that is what you need in this time period right now. I mean, 4-0-4, 20k PD, and like I mentioned, he didn't let Munchie even like touch anything. Like Munchie was running away that entire game. I don't think Munchie pushed W once that game. The man was zooming backwards the entire time. So, and that's what you want to see from your solo laner. I don't know why they picked Nike, and I don't want them to pick Nike ever again.
No,
it's over for me.
I honestly, you put him on somebody like a Kukulin with the spear having anti-heal, right? I think leave the solo lane pick for the second ban phase. I think you need to prioritize a Godson's pick, Teddy's pick, and Munchie's pick for the first 3 of these. For the first 3 picks of your phase. I think leaving Wally and Rome to kind of have those counter picks in. I mean, we already know Rome's God pool, right? The dude has a ridiculous God pool. He played on her the first game, looked pretty good on it. Who did he play game 2?
He played Rama. Not only that, but like ADC right now in general is just it's an item driven meta for ADCs. So you can really pick Hachiman, Jingwei, Rama, Cupid, on her.
Heimdall, like, even.
Heimdall, yeah, like you can pick any of these gods and still do this, like similar things. Obviously, each one has different kits and stuff, but you can do the same amount of damage on either pick. So really prioritizing a hunter pick, unless it's, in my eyes, Cupid or Rama are the only 2 that I'm picking top 3. Jingwei is a very safe pick. Like there's so many options that you can go for. I obviously right now it just seems like, you know, if Eugene gets his pick top 3, I think they look for the Ymir pick again. I think he looked really good on that. Give Munchie something comfortable on, and give Teddy something he's comfortable on. And I'm literally asking Teddy. I'm saying, what do you want to play this game?
Yep.
And he tells me I got it, and I'm locking it up. There's no question.
I want Teddy to play something that can create opportunity. Right now, with the Robin that we saw in game 2, he was following up on a lot of damage and a lot of opportunities being set up by the rest of his team, and that's how he was able to get ahead. I'm looking for him to play something that opens the door. We've seen Royal play that with the Pele in game 1, game 3. I want to see him on something that creates his own opportunity. Like I said at the beginning, Thanatos, I think, would be perfect for him right now. I think that creates enough opportunity. It creates enough pressure in any lane that you're in. And the damage output coming from a Thanatos will just allow the rest of your team to follow up on it. Godsend on something with Peel, I think, is your best bet. Khepri is good. I think he played the Khepri very well in that game. Like you said, Ymir in game 2 created a lot of space and honestly just a lot of return potential. I think the main pickup here is putting Wally on something that he can feel comfortable with rotating on. Getting him on something like a Kokolin, which you already have the damage output, you have the survivability with it. Putting him on something even as deep into the pool as honestly like a Guan Yu in the solo lane, I think would pay dividends for him. I don't think this Nike pick is paying off no matter how comfortable you are with it. I think you're falling behind because of the pick itself.
Yeah, I think that you need to move on from this Nike pick. I just don't see why he would, rely on it again after how successful he was on the Sun. It was night and day between his Sun Wukong and his Nike. Like it was clear cut different. The Sun Wukong looked better, played better, did better. That's just how you have to look at it. And unfortunately for him, he can't go back to this Nike pick this third game regardless. No. And he can't go back to this Nike pick if they win this game and they go to game 5.
And like we were saying, game 1, put him on Achilles. Like a dose of tears is saying in the chat. Putting him on something like Achilles with the natural survivability, the natural sustain, and the execute that he does have, put him on something that has that late game carry potential from the solo lane, like we see in the Sun Wukongs. Something other than Nike. He just needs to play something other than Nike.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I look at it. And I know he wants to play spicy stuff. I'll give you a little bit of an insight. I know they've been messing around with Hercules solo, which in my eyes, I'm not a huge fan of Hercules, but he really likes it. So I know they've been messing around with that. I mean, Ratatasker hasn't been picked at all. I know Livy Joey likes that pick a lot, so we might see that this game. But if I'm Glads, I'm just going back to, what worked. Just basics. There's no reason to do anything spicy. And they take away the Ymir from Godsend. And surprisingly enough, they actually take away the Robin as well from Teddy, despite probably, I would say, a poorer performance game 3. I mean, overall, I think the team really struggled game 3. Aphrodite being taken away from Zerg is a big one, but that leaves up the Khepri and the Cthulhu, which is the big one for me. And if I'm Glads, I'm taking the Cthulhu, but at the same time, I don't know if Wally plays Cthulhu. I know he's not a huge fan of it. I think he can play it, but he's not a huge fan.
That's good.
Sun Wukong is already a better direction.
Yep.
For
I already like it.
Already better. That is.
And even if he goes up against the Sun or the Cthulhu, if Livy Joey does pull out the Cthulhu here, I like the Sun Wukong better. I forcing Wally on something that has that late game potential is better, and we're already seeing it. Taking the Pele away, giving it to Teddy, who we've seen play lights out with this pick. I like the way Kittens with Mittens have responded.
This is interesting to me from Glads. I'm really surprised they don't pick Cthulhu. I really am, because he looks so good on it. Game 1, you're taking away the number 1 god. I think kind of deals with Cthulhu, which is Rama. I mean, Rama shreds that god night and day. And not only that, they don't have they don't have an Achilles on the other team. They have a Sun Wukong, so they're not really worried about the execute. But instead, going back to the Sobek and Nuwa, again, keeping raindrops comfortable, that's whatever. And Nuwa has been a highly contested pick this set, so giving Zerg the Nuwa, which does do really well against Pele. The game 1, we didn't really get to see it because Mr. Royal kind of ran a train, but Nuwa actually does really well into Pele. She can block the ultimate with her clay minions. and we're gonna see this Umoja again. And honestly, that kind of scares me.
Yeah.
They had a tough time with this pick really working out for them the first game. So
I would have liked to see the Khepri back. I think picking Khepri there is what you do, and we do see the Cthulhu Band come through. Cupid taken off of the board, so Rome will have to go back into that god pool. Now, if you're Kittens with Mittens, who do you want as this mid lane matchup? If Agni isn't banned, do you go back to the Agni?
I think so. I think you go back to the Agni. I expect, taking away the Sun Wukong. I want him to ban Guan here, to be honest. Take away Guan as well, just so Live and Joey can't play it, because that's another really good matchup in the Agni as well. Or they could take away the Cthulhu, not Cthulhu, Kakolin, one of those two. They do take away the Kali. So it looks like they are prepared for an Agni pick, and the Chang'e being banned away. So I want Kittens with Mittens to pick Agni here. I'm not really too worried about the ADC pick. He's probably going to pick like Anher or, Jingwei, something like that. But I want to see an Agni pick here. It does a great job. Ranged damage onto Nuwa. Yes, you're worried about the Sobek, but you were also worried about the Guan game too. And he didn't seem to have a problem with that. So.
And if you're looking for the kind of the return damage as well, Agni is very good at dealing with those clay soldiers. If they come out, you just dash away, and by the time they even hit you, they're already dead because of all of the tick damage. So I like the Agni pickup. I think we're both kind of
looks great on it. I mean, it's like one of his favorite gods. He loves that god, so there's nothing wrong with that. But instead, going for the Discordia,
safety.
It is safe, and I don't hate it. I really wanted to see the Agni again.
Agreed.
He does have a good Discordia. I think he really likes this pick. And there's the Ratatasker. This is the rat solo that we've been looking for pretty much this whole set, or at least I've been looking for. Joey really likes this pick, and finally gonna pull it out. He really likes it into Guan, which is why I think Wally isn't playing the Guan Yu. Is because of the fear of the Ratatasker pick. But we're waiting on what Glads is going to pick for, because this determines. I'm like 99% expecting this rat to be a solo rat, but I was also 99% expecting Guan Yu to be a solo Guan. So I don't really know where this is necessarily going. We could see Royal on the Ratatasker as well.
I just want Royal to play Erlong.
It would make sense this game. Like Umoja does have a tough time with people that stick to her like glue sometimes. So maybe that's what they're considering. They could also be considering like a Thanatos pick or like something weird that Royal wants to play. It will be boy. So,
all right, where is any of this going?
Okay,
come on, guys.
There's no way that they put the Guan in jungle again. I just don't see that happening. I'm sorry. Like, I know Mr. Royal is a fantastic player. I just don't see this Guan going in the jungle. I think it's going to be the rat in the jungle. Putting the Guan in solo lane onto Live and Joey makes more sense to me.
Yep.
It's going to be, yeah. I think that the Guan jungle experiment ended with game 2.
Yeah.
For Mr. Royal. I mean, they are one game away from winning. And actually playing it again.
No. No. I mean, you get to see your solo rat at least, right?
You get to see the solo rat. I am excited about that because I think Joey's had a great set. So I'm excited to see him play a pick that he really enjoys playing. Oh man, dude, I just don't. This Guan jungle. Imagine if Munchie picked Agni. Like that would have been like,
yeah,
just run it back.
I
think the Guan jungle is going to have an easier time this game because there's not a Ymir. There is a Umoja, so he's going to have an easier time, diving. But at the same time, like, are you really risking your finals win on a pick that you guys got ran on? Like Mr. Royal's got some balls. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean,
game 4 of this set. And this is match point for
Glads.
If they can pull through. I really don't want to vote against it. I don't want to vote for this Guan. I really don't. I just don't like the pick. but oh, this is tough. Okay, I'm gonna go Kittens with Mittens here. I'm gonna go Kittens here. Oh wait, is this a Guan solo that we're looking at? What's going on here?
It might have been an accidental trade. We'll see what happens.
But they built the stuff. I don't know. Maybe somebody messed up. Oh, you know what? Teddy's game like freezes sometimes when he loads in. So that could be what happened.
Oh, good. We'll get the spectator running, but chat. Gonna ask Glad's up game 2. Do you think they go Poggies all the way and secure their finals win, or are we gonna see a game 5 and Kittens with Mittens kind of
I'm going game 5.
Return to form?
I'm going game 5. I don't like if it is a Guan jungle. I'm going game 5.
Poggies in the chat for Glads, and just game 5 for Kittens. Let's get that rolling. I want to see a lot of Poggies. I want to see a lot of game 5s. Let's go.
Overall, the comps, like, I think the Emoja is a tough one for me to let through, but I know Godson really likes this pick. We saw flashes of brilliance the first game, and I don't expect to see anything different. You know, as the set continues, you do get more comfortable, and Yamoja seems to be one of those gods that is a very, like, comfort-driven pick. Like, you're either comfortable playing the god or you're not. And I think as the set continues, you get more comfortable. You know, you're less anxious, and that can help you play a god like that better. So we'll see.
We're seeing a decent amount of Poggies in the chat, so we got a lot of Glads hopefuls out there. Okay. With that being said, Kittens with Mittens, we saw them play from behind game 1 and absolutely come out and basically just show us why they're here in game 2. Game 3, a complete opposite turn of events. I mean, I think the game ended with a 20k gold deficit. But game 4, if any team in this league can kind of bounce back from a win or from a loss, sorry, we've already seen in this set so far, Kittens with Mittens is the one that can do it.
And the good news about losing like that too is that you can kind of reset. Like, look, you got stomped. There's no denying that. But that also means that you can look at the stuff that you did wrong and fix it. And that's what they did. So it's kind of a reset for you. It's not the worst. Like, losing like that is bad, but it's not nearly as bad as losing a 50-minute game that, you know, was just
comes down to one fight. Yeah.
So you know what you did wrong, you fix what you did wrong, and you come back, and we saw it game 2. Like, game 1, they kind of, you know, they just kind of lost, and then game 2 they come back, you know, with a fury and dominated. So I believe this team can do that again.
And I think you changed what we needed to see changed as well. Putting Teddy on a signature pick like Pele, putting Wally on something that he can do something with, come to those mid-game, late-game rotations on a god like Sun Wukong. And, you know, I'm not going to knock it. With, like you said, we saw flashes of brilliance in game 1 from Godson with this Yamoja pick, but hey, man, it's Yamoja, right? You can never count that god out because...
Exactly. There's a reason she's considered the best support in the game right now. You just can't count that god out ever. And Munchie's playing the disco as well, and I think he has a really strong deal. He plays his disco a lot like he plays his Agni, and I think he can really show up on this god. On the other side, I'm very excited to see Livid Joey pull out the Ratatasker. I want to see what he can do on that pick. Mr. Royal on the Guan, obviously not my favorite, but it is Mr. Royal, and it's hard to vote against Mr. Royal whenever he plays anything. So, Raindrops running back to Sobek. We saw 3.
I'm going with Kittens with Mittens because I want to see Royal play Erlong. I look, dude, you played it game 2. I love you for it. You know I love you, my old teammate, but play Erlong, man. Make me happy. That's all I want, right? Just make me happy.
Everybody tag Mr. Royal and tell him to lose this game so he can play Erlong.
Yeah.
Nah, but hopefully, I mean, obviously, the Guan game 2 had a very rough time, and hopefully it doesn't go as bad as it did that game. I think he just got off to a really rough start, and overall, it was just not it. So
he does use the blink to get over to this blue buff a little bit quicker.
yeah, this is what he does. So, like, because he uses the blink there, he gets to the blue buff faster, which means he doesn't need to use the hog on the back camps on his rotation back, which then means he can use the hog on the red buff with Zerg, and that's kind of how they do it, and that's how they get their like slight gold lead in the mid lane, which honestly is a very smart strategy. Like I actually really like what they do here. It makes a lot of sense.
And we're seeing the Umoja on her, getting out to a quick clear start. Jump in, does miss. Pluck from Sobek will make sure no further aggression happens onto Skillsy. And we see Royal rotating over to these mid camps now, as Kittens will just rotate and get their XP camps.
What I want to see Kittens do different there, though, I want them to go to Oracles. Like, I would rather them do the Oracles there than do their mid camp.
Oh, beautiful taunt.
Nice strife. That's what Disco does, man. Like, you get caught out of position. This guy just toasts you for that. And Disco is a very popular pick in the Thor division, as Mr. Royal is getting chased down here by Munchie and Teddy. Zerg is here, but Zerg is low, and both dual lanes are rotating over. Mr. Royal already dropped down to about 1/8 of his HP, but will make his exit as a minion was following Munchie pretty much the entire time, so that's unfortunate for him. But I think the reason Glads get off to such a good start is because of how they start, like the way that they do that. They're always getting the right mids, and they're always getting oracles, and that already gives Zerg a nice little XP and gold lead in the mid lane.
True.
So seeing MIttens try to change that up, you know, don't let them just do that. Which I like what they did there. They didn't let them do that necessarily. Unfortunately, the minion did follow them, so it's a little awkward. But look over to the Rat solo, and this pick has become more prevalent in the SPL. We saw it. We've been seeing it pretty much everywhere, and it's a fun pick to watch. It really is. Rat is a very fun god to watch and play. And I like this god, and glad to see it picked up.
And it kind of feeds into the actual personality of the god as well. Like the pick itself just feels like it's having a lot of fun whenever you pick it. I mean, what he's saying, right? The random screams, the dashes, the taunts that he throws out, being the little rat that he is. It's just fun.
Yeah, I really like this pick a lot.
Sorry, everybody, just responding to things. I apologize. And we're back. But we saw game 1, game 2 get off to very, very quick starts. Game 3, I mean, I think total only had about 15 kills in it. And I think we're going to see a little bit more of the same in game 4 here. I don't think there's going to be that many kind of arena-based plays where we're kind of just diving team fights now and again. It is going to be very methodical, very slow. And
game 3 was more of just Gladiators out healing, just outstanding in objectives. They were getting a couple picks, and then Kittens with Mittens had to back off, and that just kept happening over and over and over again. And next thing you know, Glads is sitting at a 10k gold lead, and they just kind of siege off that and win the game. And they're looking for a little bit of aggression over there in the mid lane. I also want to mention game 3 too. Kittens with Mittens didn't really go back to what they found success in game 2. Like, they found success on the solo side of the map, going for these blue invades, going for, getting Teddy pressure over that side of the map. And they didn't do that game 3. And Wally kind of suffered game 3.
I mean, that is the Sun Wukong mentality, though, right? He's one of the safest solo laners in the game, one of the safest characters in the game, like you were saying during the game 3 cast, is the god just has a lot of escapes, and unless you have the ability to lock the god down with Ratatosker now over there, I mean, I would give the win edge over to Gladiators if any sort of solo ganks or solo fights do end up happening in those 2v2 sides. Because, I mean, Cavalry Charge can chase very well. Ratatosker ult, what is it called? World Tree or something or other? What's it called?
Through the trees, I don't know.
Through the Cosmos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because that makes sense. He jumps on a tree.
Yep. But the chase potential from Gladiators is something to watch out for. If these fights are elongated, I think Gladiators do walk out with it. Now, the burst potential coming out with the Pele, with the Discordia, with the Yamoja, with the River's Rebuke, and then you have just an on her there for added measure. I mean, the god just does damage. So it's all about the burst fights for the side of Kittens with Mittens. If they don't win the fight within the first 3 seconds, they're not going to win the fight.
Yeah, and this is very, like you said, very methodical. 6 minutes in, not a single kill as Raindrops is holding the midway for his mid laner. You expect to see this, especially, not only, sets tend to get, a little bit more slow towards the end of them, but you know that this Guan Yu struggled when it got pressured out, so you don't want that to happen again, right? You don't want to play super aggressive and get behind. Play it slow, let the pick play itself. And because regardless if Guan Yu's in the jungle or the solo lane, he's still going to have a team fight presence, right? So you're not really losing out if you wait just a little bit.
Yeah, and we did see Royal actually get off to a very quick start on the Guan Yu in game 2. He did end up picking up first blood, and then a very questionable decision, does pick up a kill underneath the tier 2 tower at level 4, but trades his life for it. And I think that kind of set it. Yeah, it set his momentum behind, stopped whatever kind of pressure he did have, and gave Teddy a way back into the game. And we're already seeing kind of a different mindset from him now. He's playing it a lot safer, a lot smarter. And I think game 3 he played through his team a lot more, rather than game 1 we saw him just W key. And it's kind of the trade-off that we see with these games. The mentalities change, the strategies kind of warp around whatever picks you have, as we do see Rome and company. A lot of burst comes through. He's dead regardless. Can he look for a return? Fall straight into River's Rebuke, and Rome picks up first blood with the help of River's Rebuke and Teddy, as Cavalry Charge just find one on the stun, and nothing else will come through. Beautiful rotation. And Skillsy just a little bit overzealous. I mean, you had 2 people in your lane. And
interesting by Skillsy, Yamoja didn't gank him. Yamoja just walked up to him in lane. Like, he knew she was there, and he just kind of stood his ground and ended up paying for it. Wally might end up falling here to live at Joey, who fragging out over there. Both of actually, Wally already used his ultimate, so Live at Joey might try to sneak into the jungle here, maybe pull out a Ratatasker all, but decides to back up a little bit. But they're playing mind games here,
playing footsies. Beautiful stun, knock up. 2 underneath the tower, but evens up the HP field. If Teddy decides to get a little bit aggressive here, this could be a wrong turn. I mean, Pele definitely able to get off a lot of burst damage in quick succession. So the Ratatosker ult, you're sitting duck for the Pele, but it looks like it will just be a reset. They'll all back up, go back to farming. So no further aggression in that solo side.
Flush. Yeah, the sparks flying over there, and that's just kind of what Ratatasker does, man. Like, you wouldn't expect, like, assassin solo lanes tend to struggle a little bit because they're obviously not naturally as tanky, right? But with Ratatasker and with his acorns, he gets that little glad shield kind of proc with this acorn. Not only that, but he gets the double flurry, which is like the reason you pick this solo lane matchup for the rat is the double flurry, and it's great for proc shred, great for clear. It's hard to box a rat when next thing you know, he's stunning you with acorns. It's really difficult to fight against this god. And the best way to play him is against him. And not to mention, he could just buy boots without backing, because that's fair. So he's a difficult god to deal with. You can pressure him out early. Like, he does have a little bit of a tough time, like earlier, like 1 through 3. Since he is that assassin, he has a lower health pull and lower base defense, which means you can't force him out just a little bit. But if you take too much damage, it could really turn on your head there real quick. It's kind of what Wally's feeling right now, I think, is Livid Joey already going for an early proxy, which tells me that they are looking to fight around this Gold Fury. If I have 4 people already on the side of Glad's looking on the left side of the map, so.
A little poke there, Strife. And Discordia, one of the kind of the safest poke mages in the game with that combo. The Strife Unruly Magic combo coming through. And actually, I think it's one of the hardest hitting combos in the game as well. I mean, it already at level 11, if you hit that Strife Unruly Magic combo, it's doing about 40% of your HP at this point. If you're the squishy on the side of Skillsy or even on top of the Guan right now with just tier 1 shield. So, Discordia damage is ridiculous. Who has the passive, by the way? Can we?
Go to player damage would be the number 1. It is the
Sun Wukong.
So yeah, no surprise there. Not much fighting has been going on. So you'd expect, the lane that's been boxing the most to have the Discordia passive.
And interesting enough, team with First Blood is actually down about 1,000 gold at this point.
I think that's mostly in, it looks like, jungle solo mid, somewhere around there. Like, one of those roles.
Where's the net worth? It's nowhere in my scroll wheel. Awesome.
There you go. So
Yep.
It looks like it's in the solo lane big time. 700 gold right there. Over in the solo lane. In the mid lane, you're looking at about a 500 difference. So, 500, 400. But definitely in the solo lane. As Livid Joey trying to chase down Wally here, who's just trying to make his rotation. And this is the other thing that Ratatasker does. Sticks to you like glue. Not going to let him go. Oh my goodness. Nice. Wally can't get up in the ultimate as Zerg claps him with the minion stun. And
Zerg, you didn't have to do that, my guy. Oh my lord.
You want to know the other thing that Ratatasker does? Just like everything else that I've mentioned, this is one slippery god. It is very hard to catch a Ratatasker. Like, he's like a Sun Wukong 2.0. Like, it is so difficult to chase this god around the map. Like, his dash is on a very short cooldown. He's so tiny, he's so slippery to catch up to, and he can kind of bait you into really awkward spots. And that's kind of what he did to Wally there. Unfortunately, he was just trying to walk away.
New WoW, man. Holy crap. Can I rescind what I said earlier about the hardest hitting combo in the game? Please, I would like to make a formal redacting of what I said.
Is he leveling his? Can you look at what he's leveling? Because we see a lot of Nuwa's level to 1. Okay, yeah. So he does what I do on Nuwa, which is different. But typically you level the 2 once, right? Because you get 2 minions off of leveling the 2 once, and then you max the 3 and then max the 1 for wave clear. Because then it gets to the point where you just use your 1 and you clear a wave, right? And then you can use clay minions and whatever. And since his 3 is on such a short cooldown, it's on a 6-second cooldown. I mean, it's crazy. Like, he just runs around. But yeah, once it gets those 3 minions online, if you hit all 3 minions with that shining metal, oh my goodness, it's lights out for literally any tank. It's crazy, bro. Minion explode.
So the at max rank it's 250. And if you have 3 minions all maxed and you hit them all, that's an extra 450 damage on top of that, and plus the scaling.
Yeah. So if you hit shiny metal with the 3 minions done, as the Gold Fury is being pulled, because we're just mesmerized by how much mages do. Kids with MIttens steal the Gold Fury. Despite the Sobek and Yarama, Sobek ulted a little too late there. Couldn't really
evens up the gold.
No, it does, and Kittens with MIttens, they did that. That's a one thing that this team does do well is they know when to pull Gold Furies. They do it very well. Little Munchie actually jukes the Zerg's minions, but is going to get collapsed on Mr. Royal in their shell, and that's a lot of shielding, but it's still going to fall to the Guan Yu. And here's the Ratatasker in the sky, ults under the tower, knocks up 2. Teddy gets stunned, already brought down to half HP. Skillsy picks up the kill on the Godsend. Wally's here, but Wally's a little late, is going to be forced into the ultimate here to get away. And Gladiators, despite losing the Gold Fury, pick up 2 and are looking to try and grab this mid tower as well.
I mean, this mid tower is dead. There's no point in defending it. Like, just let it go. Yep, full run retreat, and that is Pyromancer going over the side of Gladiators. Now they do reclaim that gold lead. It is about 700 at the moment. It will spike up to about 1,200, I want to say. After that, yep. So around about 1,300 now. Oh, never mind, 900. I'm dumb. Don't listen to me.
We're at 1,000. I think he was thinking of the XP difference. 2,200.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Look, they were pretty close to a 1.2k gold lead. I mean, it was almost there. It was almost there. You were close, but yeah. I mean, that you remember like in the old days of Smite, where there was always this saying: you get the Gold Fury and you sacrifice your T1 tower. Like that's just how it is, and that's kind of what happened there. Except this time, Kittens would have been said, I want to defend my T1 tower, and they got burned for it big time. Little Munchie makes a nice little play to dash over the stun, but next thing you know, he's out of position. He's forced into his ultimate, and Zerg says, okay, thank you very much. Goes up into the sky. Mr. Royal, knowing that the Yemoja ult is down, just runs a little Munchie under the tower, who gets killed. Ratatask had a nice ultimate on the Teddy, and that's all she wrote. As Zerg up in the air once again. I think he got maybe Strife there. Got scared for a second. As Mr. Royal is playing this game more patiently, and he's going for the same build that he did last game, or the second game, I should say. And I think this build is going to work a lot better this game than it did game 2.
Yeah, no, it was just a play style difference was really the thing. He set himself behind. He gave Teddy a lead. And there's nothing he can do against Lil Munchie on the Agni already ahead. I mean, game 2, I think Kittens with Mittens had 4 level 20s. And the only difference, as we do see, never mind, we're seeing a lot of aggression onto the duo side. Cavalry Charge used, Thorns are popped, Rivers Rebuke in response. Mr. Royal falls to about 40%. Rome does elect to turn around. It is a 3v2 at the moment. Cavalry Charge for Rivers Rebuke. And Desert Fury. I'll take that.
He does have to use both of his relics there, but not the worst trade ever. It just keeps Rome and Godsend in check. That to me, there's damage checks and then there's defense checks, and that to me is a Mr. Royal defense check. How much damage can I take? And he took a Rivers Rebuke, a Desert Fury, and autos to the face and said, yep, I'm chilling, and walks away. Whereas the second game, if he would have done that, he probably would have gotten toasted. But
now we also saw the Ymir as well, able to shut down, keep him in place. He takes a lot more damage for that. Like, just God picks into God picks. I think Guan Yu picked up after the Yemoja was locked. Pretty well done. I mean, Guan Yu, I believe, was 4th picked? Or was
Somewhere
he 5th?
there, yeah.
I think he was 5th picked. Because the Ratatosker picked up at 4th, I believe.
Yeah. I believe he was the last pick.
And where we're really seeing the level differentials now is in that mid lane kind of area. Nuwa, very good at farming, has a 2-level lead on top of Little Munchie now. Sitting at 1-0-1 is Zerg.
And it looks like Munchie's going to go for the Karen's coin here again. Like I mentioned, works well when you're behind. Can, scale up to that late game. He kind of needs that pen now, especially since Royal already has a Genji's guard and is building tanky. So he's a little bit behind in the pen department. So getting that instant pen is going to help him a lot as this Gold Fury is respawning. And Lads wants to pull it. Let's see what Kittens responds with. Ratatasker is in the air, and Sun Wukong already has to ult, being forced down super low. Zerg is in his ultimate, and Sun Wukong's kind of in no man's land. He's got to back up to his team. Live Joey doesn't really find anything through the Cosmos, but the Gold Fury's still being pulled, so I guess he is zoning in a sense, as Gladiators are able to walk away. And
Rom ult is in the air. Who's he looking for? Oh, no. Never mind. He just falls back down immediately.
Yeah, maybe thought they were going to try to aggress or something. Unfortunately, no. For him, as both teams heading over to the Pyromancer side of the map. A lot of ultimates used on both sides. Teddy and Munchie still have theirs, and the Guan Yu Sobek ult are also still available. So
Zerg dropped to about 50% from a little bit of poke coming out of Little Munchie, the Strife combos. They are looking to aggress. Kittens with Mittens getting very aggressive now. Cavalry charge goes in, finds 1-2, stun on Godson, who's completely out of Omi. Now Flame dropped very low due to the roam auto attack skills. He picks up Godson in the back. Teddy able to do enough damage as Flame drops falls to Wally with the auto. Big Strife combo. Discord Apple does hit 1, will hit 2. Can Teddy chase this? Does activate Magma as Wally finds a double. Livid Joey forced into through the Cosmos. Will he look onto the kill for Livid? Or sorry, not Livid, Little Munchie. Will he go for it? They're looking to play Protect the Mage. Elects not to go, completely retreating, realizing that 4 members of the team are surrounding Little Munchie.
Yeah,
great fight from Kittens.
He's getting out his life, and if he does die there, it's a risk versus reward. If he misses the ultimate, he dies. If he hits the ultimate, he gets the kill but still dies. So it's really how much are you willing to risk there? Kittens is picking up the Pyromancer, and that's the fight that you want to see from Kittens with Mittens. That was a great fight.
That fight is completely on the back of Little Munchie with that Strife Unruly Magic combo. Finds 2 into the taunt, able to pick one of them up. I think Mr. Royal lives on the back end of that, but you insta-kill Zerg and Flame drops at the beginning. Skills he picked up, I believe, by Wally in the backside of that tower. And Little Munchie played that greatly.
You know, like how like everybody, when your mid laner hits like a big Thothol or a big Kraken or something like that, and just like burst somebody down, you're like, okay, let's go in. Like like it's just that instant initiation. Yeah, imagine having that every 8 seconds. That's basically what Go does for your team. Hitting the double strife creating that that taunt with the Unruly Magic. I mean, that is so much damage, and it's only going to hit harder. I mean, he's building his 5th item right now. I mean,
and it is going to be a Soul Reaver too. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to hurt.
and that's something they've got to be worried about. Discordia creates so many problems that other mages just don't, and that's why we see a lot of people kind of gravitate towards this pick. Like you don't really expect to get strifed out of nowhere into taunt. Like it's such a crazy ability to have. It's like super. It's like getting double circuit taunted. Like that doesn't happen that much, and when it does, you're like, oh my goodness, like and that's a range. Like it's crazy. I don't know.
Discordia. I mean, we wanted to see the Agni, but that. Discordia kind of plays herself, right? That 2-1 combo is really all you're looking for. You're just looking for the setup. You're looking for your team to follow up off of whatever combo you can hit. And if you miss the strife, don't worry, just dash away. It'll be back up in 2 seconds anyway, right?
And you have the apple to buy you more time as well. Like she provides a lot. There's a reason that a lot of people gravitate towards this pick when things are about. You want to know what's interesting too is we haven't seen any Scylla. Which I think is another mid lane pick that a lot of people gravitate towards, but we haven't seen a ban or a pick in this whole set. I don't know if both mid laners just don't really play it that much, but that's another pick that kind of can do the same thing as like a disco, where you just make that play, that turns the fight.
I mean, I'm a monster. One of the best kind of team fight turning ults in the game. If you hit 1, you're guaranteed pretty much to win that fight. With the reset that happens, because I'm a monster. I mean, it is ridiculous. I mean, you can insta kill pretty much any carry past 20 minutes, and with the reset and how it works, it's just so tough to deal with.
Yeah, it's crazy, which is why I'm surprised we haven't seen her that much. She was like the flavor of the Worlds too. Like we saw a lot of her in Worlds, but Gladiators. Pulling this gold here already, and nobody on Kittens with Mittens is really around.
They steal it with Yamoja. Oh,
Yamoja stole it with her 1, and that is the turning point, ladies. That's the swing that they needed.
That's tough.
Now they're looking to take a fight, maybe, but decide to back up. And wow, I just cannot believe that Gladiators let that one go. That's tough. because nobody, like, I mean, people were there. Like, Yamoja was obviously there. I believe Paleo was there, but that steal potential is so low compared to the 5 people in Glads. And it doesn't really come down to them zoning or just bad secure from Manua. Like, it's so tough to call. I just think you just can't expect that. As Teddy getting collapsed on Nua ult is down, but Joey's
through the
got
Cosmos Forest, big combo coming out of Zerg, hits the minion stun. Rommel able to do so much, lands 2. River's Rebuke comes out in return. Little Munchie lands the apple, and Livid Joey gets blown up as Mr. Royal's looking for the return. Strife does get landed before he dies. That will lead to Royal being picked up. Rome able to secure that. Flame drops, dies before the ult can go off. Lurking in the waters isn't going to save you that time, my guys. Wally just looking for the retreat, and he will fall. Oboe procs off a Fire Giant, able to pick that up as Skillsy evening the playing field. 2v2 overall.
They committed so much to Livid Joey in that fight, and unfortunately Munchie did his best to walk away, and Teddy was getting committed on so hard. Teddy may be trying to make a play on Skillsy, who has no idea that he's here. Skillsy is by himself right now. Teddy kind of baiting the corner. Skillsy still doesn't know Teddy is here, and this might be a big kill for Teddy. Can he find the knockup? He misses the knockup, and Skillsy's able to walk away safely. That's close, man. If Teddy has his ultimate there, he is 100% diving. Unfortunately, the rollout was good enough to get away from the knockup, and it's kind of a wash, but man.
His solo Pyromancer, not solo, sorry, Godsend's there, just hidden in the profiles. Pyromancer will fall. Kittens Women's will pick that up, increase their lead by very minimalistic. I mean, it's only, what is that, 1,200 at 27 minutes. That is mitigational. It is nothing. This game is the most even game I think we've seen so far.
Agreed. I think game 1 was Gladiators got off to a start, and then KWM kind of came back and eventually ended up losing that one. But yeah, this one definitely very close. I think it just comes down to, like, how much is KWM willing to commit to Livid Joey to kill him, because they committed a lot. I mean, that was a Yamoja ult, a Disco ult. Like, they dumped pretty much everything into Livid Joey. And if all of Gladiators was there, because I don't believe they were, like if they were able to do some kind of damage off of how much they committed to Livid Joey, they might actually end up winning that fight. They do end up killing Munchie, but it ends up being a wash for 3 for 3 as both ADCs kind of just chunked after everything was committed. So,
you know, Rome, I think, needs to play around Teddy and what they can do. I mean, Godson's going to be there, and you know he's going to be there for the peel with the River's Rebuke that are coming out, but you need to pick a target and you need to go. Teddy has not really been diving as best as we've seen quite yet. And I think you need to get on top of Zerg and do what you do best, which is making this Nuwa pay. And
Wally I don't know if Wally thought he was under pressure there, but just kind of blinked away. So no engage for Wally on the Sun Wukong, and Teddy gets picked up, has to use his ultimate, and that's a blink and an ultimate being down for the side of Kittens with Mittens. And he will heal up using the Emoja, but that's still 2 pretty vital parts of a team fight. Godsend had to waste all of his Omi basically to heal up, and Livid Joey says, let me go create space for my team. Fire Giant already brought down, but they're going to leash this as Raindrops maybe trying to keep it just a little bit. Oh no, Mr. Royal trying to go in on the back line here. Cavalry charges up as well as through the Cosmos. Don't really find much though, as River Rebuke hits a lot of people.
Royal gets blown up. Strife landed, but Skillsy is here. Skillsy is getting melting
by Teddy, but good shell, and Skillsy's full HP in this team fight, and they are ready to kill Munchie, and he's caught in the Sobek ult and finally dies to Oboe, and Godsend's gonna fall here to Skillsy. Looks like nice pluck, and Rome's fighting on the back end, and
Rome able to find the return kill onto Joey there. Big kill on the back end. This should be Phoenix. Only 2 members alive. Rome and Teddy not really able to dive into this comp.
Teddy does does have his ultimate though. Having it used later means that he can turn this fight.
And Skillsy will rip through this tower if they have the opportunity to.
He will.
Hitting it for 123 in auto. Teddy playing a little bit of aggro there. Great jump.
And beautiful pluck by Flame Drops. Well done. And I don't think they get this Phoenix. They're gonna have to back up. Godson is respawning, so Kids with MIttens saved the Phoenix. Fire Giant wasn't taken either. It looks like Gladiators is happy to grab a red buff, maybe go and take this Gold Fury as well. And man, I want to say if Livid Joey, I think Livid Joey has played really well this set, but that is just one play that I think he got a little too overzealous. Trying to take that 1v1 with a late game ADC is never a good idea, especially when you don't have ultimates. Like, you're just not going to win that as a Ratatasker, and unfortunately, you know, if he was there for that Phoenix Siege, maybe it goes different. Maybe they grab that. As Kittens with MIttens are ready to pull this EFG, everybody on Gladiators is backing right now. Or Skillsy kind of, I don't know what Skillsy was doing there. He backed it, like, he backed and back again.
New Oil does come out. Through the Cosmos does land. Little Munchie dropped already to 50%. Won't fall. Uses the dash perfectly as Teddy is under pressure from Mr. Royal now, sitting at about 10%. He will meet up with the rest of his team. Fire Giant still up, sitting at about 70% healing. Will they start it up? Yes, they will. They started up before it gets to full HP, and this is EFG now, folks.
Livid Joey gets pinned into the wall, already brought down to half HP by Rome. Beautiful pillar to cut off the escape, and
Rome doing so much.
Wally blinking in, unfortunately used the bowl instead of the stun onto Livid Joey. And Rama snipes are out, hitting Rome for a lot of damage, and both teams are very low, except Skillsy, and that's the big one right there. This Rama is going to be doing so much damage in these fights.
If you have any potential to win a fight, it needs to be getting Skillsy out of it. Kittens with MIttens able to secure the Pyromancer there. Skillsy just kind of sitting around the corner. He is really not afraid of anything. Stepping up to 5 people.
Rome has to back here, completely out of mana. He can't stay even with the heals of Yamoja. And Munchie does hit a strife onto Skillsy, and Teddy thought about going in but backed up. Livid Joey is back and is behind the Fire Giant, ready to make something happen. And
now, I kind of already touched on it, but the only way you win a team fight at this late in the game, right, is you need to get Skillsy out of the fight. He is the one that has the biggest sustained damage on the comp. He burns through Wally, he burns through Godsend, and any fight he takes against a Squishy, he's going to win, barring some kind of random turn and burn. So Teddy needs to find a way into the backline, get Skillsy on the back foot, force his ult early, force him to make a decision. Do I ult here? Do I have to use an active? And then you start to pressure. I don't think there's a way that you can really burn through Flame Drops. He needs to kind of be out of position in order for you to do anything. Rome is the only one that can really burn any of their tanks now. And it just needs to be a hard dive onto Skillsy. I don't think there's a way that you can realistically win a team fight with him being alive.
Because we are so late in the game, this is where ADCs really flourish, and both ADCs are basically hitting tanks for a lot of damage. Skillsy already has sold his boots, got the oboe with his boots. Actually, no, he got no, he did the oboe. I'm right, okay. I started going crazy. Skillsy actually does a ton of damage to the wall with his astral arrows, and something's going on in mid lane here. Mr. Royal trying to split push a Phoenix, and this is what Glads did a couple of the games. They split pushed the Phoenixes twice, I believe. Mr. Royal, you know, took the 1v the first game against Teddy, ended up getting Phoenix, and the Armor Wolf got the Phoenix one of those games as well, and that kind of separates the team fight. So they're trying to do a similar strategy again, but Kittens with MIttens having none of it. It's going to be hard for Guan Yu to solo a Pele, especially with his build going very tanky. He's got to be in these team fights. His raindrops already dropped down to about 60% HP. Oh man, this is so close.
It is going to come down to a team fight. Whichever team either secures this EFG or wins the team fight around EFG, that's going to be game.
Already at 60%. So is raindrops, and Kittens with MIttens in a good spot. They have the sustain from Yamoja, and that's big in these team fights. Gladiators, they do have Guan, but Mr. Royal is pretty much playing on the back of these fights, so he's not really grouping up with, you know, raindrops or Skillsy to utilize that Guan healing. Beautiful strife into the stun by Yemoja. Rivers
Beautiful Rivers Rebuke.
Wally goes on to Skillsy on the back end and actually gets his beads. Is going to have to go in the ultimate, but on the rest of the fight, Raindrops ends up getting the kill onto Munchie with the help of Zerg, and Mr. Royal still alive. Pele slightly off the mark. Livid Joey picks up Rome. Wally finally kills Mr. Royal, but KWM has to run away here, and Teddy's looking like he's going to fall to Joey. Oh, the acorns just weren't enough, but he finally does pick up the kill with the flurry double kill for Livid Joey, and I'm not really sure where Rome was in that fight, but he got toasted. That was a beautiful play by Munchie and Godson to get those two locked in there, but you're locking in a horse and a crocodile. They just said, thank you very much. Both go in the ultimate, and this very much could be game if Gladiators wants to push in. They do have a lot of towers up still. They have 3 towers up, but they want to go in here. Beautiful stun by Godson. Skills, he's way too low, gets killed by Wally, and that might be the disengage from Glads, and it looks like it will be. They are going to get out of here. Fire Giant was not got. Like they did not pick up Fire Giant. Raindrops has to ult here.
No. And honestly, the end play is not the play there. You still have 3 towers on the field, right? Exactly. This solo tier 1 is very low. Back up after you get that Phoenix. That tier 1 is free. And possibly even the tier 2, or even if you pick up the tier 1 and start fire.
Kittens looking to chase. Godson has his ultimate available. If he can lock somebody down, that is a kill. And he is able to lock down, looks like Livid Joey, who has to go up in the ultimate, but
Flame Drops is dead.
No man's land. Does get a lot of ultimates used on him, and everybody on Kittens is very low, but I agree with you. Too many towers up right now. That solo tower is literally 1 HP. There's 2 other towers up on the map as well. I can understand that, you just want to get the set over with. You just want to get it over.
Adrenaline is high. You're yelling, you're screaming. I understand it, but play it smart, play it calculated. With Skillsy dying there, it completely removes your fight potential. This EFG is free for Kittens to take, and after that, they have 2 towers on the board. They can group up as 5. It makes the dive onto Skillsy a hell of a lot easier. It's just, I think that was the wrong play. Going for the end there is not what you do.
That is definitely the turning point, I think, because now, you give Kittens with Mittens a chance to siege with their comp, and they've got a good siege. You've got Wale to create a ton of space on the Sun Wukong. You've got the Yemoja for the Rivers Rebuke to cut off anything that Guan Yu wants to do. I mean, yeah, they have the the Ratatasker ult. You got Pele for the back, the dive on the back line, and Disco is a great sieger because you cannot step up.
No,
pokes so well. Nuwa can clear, and Nuwa's a great defense mage. She can clear with the mist, and it's hard to siege into minions being constantly thrown out as well. With she's got good poke, but
with that,
if I pick to siege with on my team, I think Disco might be like top 3. If
give me Fafnir all day long.
He's not a mage.
He is a mage. Excuse you.
Oni minions are in right lane.
They'll pick up that tier 1, but I think the way Kittens are playing this, they're not really worried about the 2 towers that are over here able to defend with a wave meeting it already. They want to get structures off the board. You pick up this last tier 2, and you start a Phoenix siege. That's what you do.
I like what Rome's gone for with his build too, picking up the Aussie for selling his boots. It seems like Livid Joey is the one that has been diving Rome, and Livid Joey has no anti-heal. So you've got the Divas plus the Aussie to prevent him from effectively diving you. That's gonna take a long time.
Something to mention, Disco passive is on Rome. You need to be playing around him. You cannot let Rome die at the beginning of these fights. He needs to be able to get off the damage. He's the only one on your team that can shred this front line that Gladiators have. If Rome dies, your team fight potential gets thrown out of the board. It is rotating around both of these carries at this point. They need to be alive. Whichever carry gets taken off of the board, that team needs to make up a lot of ground if they're going to win a fight.
I like what Wally's gone for his build this game too. We saw him go a little bit more defensive game 2 on the Sun Wukong, but selling the boots for the Heartseeker, which is great pickup on Sun Wukong, creates. I mean, this guy is fantastic at poking. That gives him a ton of power. You also mentioned last game 2, he had the Spirit Robe, picks up the Mantle this time, which I think works great, especially against the Nuwa. having that mantle. I personally really like. I'm a big bulwark guy. I literally created a team around bulwark, but I love that item. I think it works really well in the new WOT, especially like with those clay minions. Having that CCR and that shield helps a lot against diving new WOT. I can understand the Oni pickup, but I do like bulwark a lot. So.
And it looks like the 4-1 split is what we're seeing. Both junglers in mid, forced to deal with one another. We are seeing kind of a 1v1 breakout right outside that Phoenix. Mr. Royal dropping to about 60%. As this Phoenix siege is now underway, Godson immediately dropped very low due to Skillsy. Shell comes out. The 2 comes out for the extra shielding as Ratatosker does fall on top of 3. Godson falls to 50. Somersault Cloud is used. Dives onto flame drops on her ult. Desert Fury will be down. Livid Joey caught out as Little Munchie and the Phoenix goes down. Gets a lot of poke on his Skillsy. Is at about 10%. Kittens with Mittens sieging very well.
Interesting play by Godson. I'm surprised he didn't get burned for that. I mean, he portaled in as Mr. Royal is going to fall in mid, not having that ultimate available.
Rome is doing so much.
Game 5, boys, as Wally blinks in onto Skillsy, who just eats this man for breakfast. Everybody on Kittens with Mittens has to back up. Fire Giant is now off of them. So they've got to back up here. Grabbing 2 Phoenixes, that is a successful Fire Giant in my book.
Yep. I don't think you siege this. I think you reset. You group around fire. That's the next fight you take. If they all fight you, that's free fire minion waves into tower.
With
beautiful beads. River's Rebuke comes out again. Somersault Cloud and through the Cosmos are used. Zerg drops very low. Will fall to Teddy as Skillsy picks up Little Munchie in the back. And Flame drops, falls very low as well. Rome is fighting for his life and does end up falling. Skillsy doing so much, but it won't be enough as Teddy able to get Skillsy off of the board. 2 Phoenixes down, 3v2 right now as Titan is sitting at about 50% HP. This is looking like a game 5, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what Livid Joey and Flame Drops can do as Wally giving his life. Not enough.
If Rome lives there, they win the game. I'm not really sure what Wally was doing, at all during that team fight. He goes there with his team, but then he just ran to the Titan. It almost seemed like he was trying to end the game. Instead, if Rome lives there, because Godson was off in the jungle, he was really low HP. He couldn't really step up to help Rome. Teddy was trying to get to Rome through the Phoenix. But Wally was trying to end the game. If he had just stepped up with Wally through the Phoenix, trying to help Rome, they win. Rome will shred the Titan, and they'd probably win the game off of that. But
I think it needed to be a hard commit. You saw both Teddy and Godson, I believe, kind of back off from that Titan. If you're going to go for it, go for it. There needs to be no hesitation. So if you have Teddy just burning everything onto the Titan with Wally burning everything and Wally's taking the blunt of the damage, there might have been enough to where you could have secured that. But I honestly think after you secure both of those Phoenixes, you back up, you reset, and you just fight around this next EFG. Because if you secure that next EFG, that is game. There's nothing they can do to you.
I think Godson was the one that made that call. He knew that River's Rebuke was up, and not only that, they know that Mr. Royal is dead, and they had used relics on the left side of the map. But even still, I just think like you said, just getting this resetting is already worth it. But it looks like they're gonna get it for free anyway, as Glads didn't seem too interested. River's Rebuke is used, and probably not necessary. A snipe's coming in from Rama, and good try to attempt to secure that, but unable to do so, as Zerg also used his ultimate there as well. So 2 ultimates down on the side of Glads, and those are 2 pretty good ultimates to escape damage. So
sorry about the random player view onto Sobek. I was trying to get the player view onto Skillsy with the snipes to see if he could have secured that, but spectator diff.
It's okay. When I spectate, I don't even know how to use the things. I can spectate, right, but I can't do anything fancy at all. It's bad.
31 wards out of Gonsend. 4 members on the team of Kittens with Mittens with over 20 wards placed.
That's what you like to see. That's good team play.
That is good.
Overall, this is a very close game. This has been the longest game of the set, 45 minutes just now, and Skillsy dashing into Teddy, who pretty much eats him, but
yeah, Skillsy drops very low and does not have the ult available to get him out of dodge, as he will fall through the Cosmos. Does not go off. Teddy able to pick that up with the help of the Disco Apple, as it is just a full commit now. Mr. Royal doing what he can. Rome falls low, will not be picked up. Rome able to survive with a sliver of HP. The Phoenixes have respawned, but it doesn't mean much with 5 members with EFG. Zerg looking for something, will not find it. Nua ult comes out, able to insta-delete Rome off the board, but I think it's a little too late, as it looks like the call is just all in Titan. Game 5.
Yep, we will be going to game 5.
Beautiful.
Fall. So close. So close.
This was the closest game we have seen yet. I mean, the game ends with about a 12k gold deficit, but I'm after about 30 minutes of that game where there was only a 1k difference, that it's mitigational, right?
Okay, call me crazy, but Guan Yu jungle, I think I've seen enough. I think.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it on that pick. It's not. I don't think he played it necessarily bad, but
you're not getting enough out of the pick. You need Royal on something that he is able to carry the game with, and putting him on a frontline jungler where he's not able to do what we have seen him do the entirety of the season. Like, put him on a dodgy, right? Put him on something that you can create opportunities with and get that burst damage out. Guan Yu just isn't that pick.
Yeah, I don't know if it's him making the decisions. I mean, I personally, I think Liv Joey did, pretty good on the rat. He was creating, a lot of focus onto him, but I think there was a piece of the puzzle missing for Glads in this game, and I really think it came down to the Guan Yu jungle for them. Unfortunately, I've had enough. We've had enough of the Nike for KWM. I've had enough of the Guan Yu jungle. I don't hate Guan Yu pick. If they want to put it in the solo lane, put it in the solo lane, but I don't want to see it in the jungle anymore. As for Kittens with Mittens, I think at this point it's night and day. I mean, put Wally on some Wukong, and apparently you just win the game. Obviously there are more pieces to the puzzle than just that, but I think Munchie really stepped up on this disco. But you can't really look at that game and not talk about Rome. I mean, sitting at the highest PD in the game, like 45k, he was swinging on her pick, and I haven't really talked much about Rome this set. And
he's played consistent smite. We talked about Livid Joey just playing consistent fundamental smite. In that game, it all revolved around Rome. If he lives in those team fights, you win the game. For both carries, actually, for Skillsy and Rome, respectively. They were the ones you needed to play through come late in those team fights. And the moment Skillsy overcommitted onto Teddy, took over 60% of his health with a 1-2 combo, and then just gets blown up in the back, you lost the game at that point. There's nothing you would have been able to do.
I think Rome, not that he had a bad first 3 games, but that game that was the Rome show late game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, that guy was alive. They won team fights, and he certainly looked very good on this on her pick, and that's just what the ADCs bring, man. I mean, late game, it all comes down to how much the ADCs can do. You can only do so much, but when those ADCs are swinging, they're swinging.
All right, chat. It is game 5. It all comes down to 1. Everything else before this point, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but you're fighting for your life now. It is nut up or shut up at this point. Just go for it. Whatever strategies you have in that back pocket, whatever weird picks you want to pull out, whatever wild cards that you think might get you the win, now's the time to do it. And you already talked about it. I don't want to see a Nike or a Guan Yu in this game at all. We see a lot of people in the chat saying Disco's not the pick. I don't think it was terrible. I would have much rather see him on an Agni or...
I think an Agni would have done really well, but I thought he played fantastic on the Disco. I mean, if people are committing that much to kill you, you're clearly a problem. There is no reason that they are committing that much to kill you if you're not doing something. I think Munchie made plays by himself, on this Disco. He had great strifes. His ultimates were solid in these team fights. I mean, he did a lot, and regardless of the stat line, how much damage he did, the amount of focus that was on him was just crazy. And the fact that he was able to live that long, I thought he played great. Personally, again, I would have liked to see the Agni. I'm not saying that Disco was the most amazing pick, but in the end, he won on it and he looked good on it, and that's what's important.
Yeah, agreed. It does look like we are taking a little bit of a break here, guys. It does look like Kittens are taking a little bit of time, just getting everything set up, taking a little bit of a finger stretching break, if you will. I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick. We'll get the show on the road whenever they're ready.
I don't know if he paused the stream. I think he did. I don't know. I am now looking at chat, by the way. If anybody wants to ask me questions, I'll read them. Or if you want to talk about the games, that works too. Because like, it's pretty fun. I've had a good time. 69 viewers, nice. Forgot about the void luck passive. Question mark? What is that? Void luck passive. $71 viewers now. Got the party in here, bro. This is exciting. How has your day been? My day has been great. Thank you for asking, Lawyer. I woke up at 4 in the afternoon, so that was fun. Let's go, KW. When's the last time you showered? 3 days ago, to be exact. Yeah. 4 p.m. Let's go, KW. You know, this is I didn't, not that I didn't expect it to be close, because I think both of these teams are really good, but this has been a really fun set. It's been really close, been back and forth. We should start a prediction vote. Oh yeah, you guys. I don't know how to do that, but you guys can do that. Wait, okay. We need to find like an emote or something that you guys can put. I can't do it. I'm not I'm not the one streaming this. I'm just the one like looking at chat. So like I'm just looking at it on the actual stream. I can't do that. I don't have access. They don't allow me access to this, bro. Sorry. You have to ask Crown to do that. But he's doing stuff. The mod has to. Okay, somebody who's a mod do it. Yeah, Unreal Lounge. I know. Somebody who's a mod can do that. I don't know who the mods are. I don't know what they're talking about, to be honest. Anybody else? Anybody excited for season? What is it? Season 5. Oh, shit. We're getting into the games. Okay, let's do this. Heck yeah. I'll take over from here while Mr. Conhut is waiting. All right, boys. So we're going through these picks and bans. We got a set Afro Apollo being banned. No surprise to the Afro ban. I mean, Zerg played it the third game and kind of dominated on it. That was the game that they kind of steamrolled. So you don't want to see that pick ever again. Set being banned away. Unfortunately, nobody on the side of KWM can really play this god. So you'd expect to see that god taken away from. Because I believe Crown Hunt mentioned, Skillsy does play this in the dual lane. So none of that set cheese dual lane. Ra Apollo. And this is where it comes down to KWM. They are going to take away the Kepri, which was a pretty highly contested pick early on. Raindrops really likes this god in the support role. I personally want to see Joey back on the Cthulhu. Yamoja being taken away from Godson. I think he really redeemed himself on this pick. From game 1, game 4 looked a lot better on this pick, so taking that away. But that does leave the Ymir up, and it's interesting to me. Actually, you know what? It's not interesting to me because I don't believe Raindrops does play Ymir. So I think Godson knows that, and they're going to take the Rama away. Sun Wukong is going to be coming back out for Livid Joey. This is we're seeing this Pele meta apparently in this in this set. Everybody wants to play Sun Wukong and Pele, but why are they picking Cthulhu? Like, does he just not like that god anymore? Like, he's like, nah, I don't want to play it because he played so good on it. He played so well the first game on Cthulhu, and he just hasn't brought it back. Like, it's so weird to me.
I think with what their game plan is, putting him on Sun Wukong, who has a lot easier of just, I want to say, confirmable dives. So, like, Cthulhu really just separates the team very well, and he pressures a lot of people out, but he doesn't really have the greatest quote-unquote kill secure. And I think Sun Wukong is able to secure those picks and create at least a lot more of a splitting pressure than Cthulhu would.
Yeah, I agree. Seeing the Scylla this early is actually a surprise to me, considering it wasn't picked at all.
Hey, you wanted to see it, homeboy.
I did want to see it.
Now all we need, right? We've seen the Ratatosker.
I want to see Kukulkan, which is what he's picking, and I want to see Ymir being picked here.
Kukulkan, Ymir, give me the Erlong. Royal, please. You'll make all of our dreams come true with one pick. Just do it. Give me Erlong or give me Bakasur. I'll be all right with either.
I'd be very surprised to not see a Ymir here for Godson. But it will be the Pele, and it will be the
That is a scary first 3 picks. Rom, Pele, and Cuckoo, man.
So again, Pele being the highly contested pick. Didn't want to give that to Royal. Understandable. I just think Godson looked really good on the Ymir. He was able to separate the fights, and there's the Kali pick that everybody talked about.
Yeah, he won game 3 in semis with this pick, and he looked pretty good on it. So I'm all right with it. I'm fine. All right, fine, Royal. Don't do what I want you to do. Whatever. Thought we were friends. As Ymir banned out, Cupid banned out as well. Like you were saying, I think instead of the Pele, I think you pick up the Ymir.
I think, honestly, Kukulkan, you pick up the Ymir. I don't know if they banned the Kukulkan. They definitely banned the Pele or picked the Pele.
They ban or pick the Pele. The Kukulkan, I know I wanted to see, at least in game 3. I think it would have looked different with the Kukulkan pickup. Now, with this matchup already, though, Ymir taken off the board, do you pick up the Kepri if you're Kittens?
Well, no, because they banned it. So,
oh, I'm dumb. You're welcome, everybody. This is the high level casting you've came to see.
If I'm Godson here, right, and call me crazy, he picks Fenrir. Now, I don't know if I'm willing to risk my finals title on the line to play Fenrir support with Sunder, but he does play it, and it is aggressive. And Kali struggles against aggression. The Chang'e being banned away. We could also see him run the. Well, there's the Sobek running back.
Oh, Jolly's in. He's playing mid now. Jolly looked lights out in game 3 of the semis with the Scylla pickup. Played it to perfection. I love the Ares. Love the Ares. Shuts down Scylla escape. You shut down everything Sun Wukong can do to get away from you. Slows down Kali, and just you kill Sobek for free. And on top of that, please lock it in, Munchie.
There's the Agni pick that we've all wanted. I like the Agni pick. Put him on it. Like, Agni's actually really good against Kali because what he can do to Kali is essentially the only CC that Kali really has to deal with in her ultimate is stuns, right? So just stun her. Like you dash and stun. Kumbhakarna, okay. I don't know if I'm going that spicy. I personally, the Ares pick.
I would prefer the Ares.
Me.
Over the Kumbha, I think I would prefer the Ares.
I agree. I don't like Kumbhakarna. That's a really weird pick, but looks like he's going for it, and he will be. Kumbhakarna. So, oh man.
I'm not gonna knock him. Godsend is Godsend, but I would have preferred to see the Ares. I think the Kumba, honestly, if you're going to play Kumba, I think a better version of Kumba is just Kuzumbo.
Yeah.
You play Kuzumbo, you shut down everything that the Kali can do to dive you, and
it's not that I hate Kumbhakarna, because like obviously the idea behind Kumbhakarna is sound, right? You want to punish the Kali for diving your backline. I think the problem with Kumbhakarna in general is just like, what does he do outside of his mez? He's such a weird god to play. I'm not a huge fan of this pick. I mean, get why you, but personally I agree with you. I think a Kuzumbo would have made a little bit more sense.
I would have liked Kuzumbo a lot better in this draft than either the Ares or the Kumba, but if it was between those two picks, I think Ares is the play.
Ares is also really weird too, because I don't really think that shuts down anybody on the
no, it slows them down, and that's all you're really looking for if you're on the side of KWM with the draft that Glads have, with the Scylla, who has a lot of pressure potential, a lot of carry potential, with the Kali, who's basically just a W key incarnate. All you're looking to do is just slow those picks down, and I think Ares does that very well in between the two picks of Kuma and Ares.
And unfortunately for this is no hate to Jolly or anything, but unfortunately because they have to play with Jolly, it means that they're not going to have that same set synergy between Royal and Zerg that we've seen pretty much the whole set. So we're going to see how Jolly can play in this mid lane. Plus, you've got Raindrops and support, who is a new support. So, and Raindrops kind of followed along with like Zerg and what Zerg wanted to do. So it's going to be different for Glads. And unfortunately, that might hurt them in the long run. We'll just have to see. Mr. Royal is playing on a hard carry pick like he wanted. The Kali can hard carry. So I'm just glad to see Wally on something that's not Sun Wukong or Nike. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad he didn't go back to Nike. Like, I like the Kakolan pickup. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think the Kakolan pickup is a very good pick for Wally. I like the departure from the Nike in the last couple of games. It's made a huge difference. We saw it in game 2 with the SWK. Mm-hmm. But this Scylla pick, man, I think all eyes are on this Scylla.
I agree. I think Scylla's a fantastic god, but she's got to be piloted well. There's got to be somebody behind the wheel.
If anybody can do it, it is Jolly. He played absolutely crazy in the game 3 of the semis for this team. So I'm excited to see it, man. We're going to see what Jolly can do in game 5. This might be the ringer for Glads to be able to close this out.
Yeah, this is all the marbles, man. What a time to sub,
Right? I mean, that's like Michael Jordan, game 7 of the finals, subbing in the last 2 minutes. That's what this is right now. Mm-hmm. But big hype, boys. Let's get some hype in the chat. Who you guys got? Poggies all around.
They wanted to do a vote earlier, but honestly, I didn't know how to do that. So
I don't know how to do votes. I'm just a lowly tier streamer, guys. Thank you for the sub, Mr. Feisty. Appreciate you, bud.
Icy Lobster. Cheering for KWM. I saw that in the chat. Always watching. Nothing crazy in terms of build starts for either side. No surprise to see Gladiators have the pressure over in the duo lane. I mean, Kumbhakarna is just so awkward. Like early game especially. He just doesn't really do a ton. So no surprise there. He's got to get a couple levels. Once Kumbhakarna hits 5, that's where this god can really like flourish. The ultimate is impact, especially early on. Can get a couple picks.
Something with the Kumbhakarna, he basically removes somebody from a team fight for about 3 seconds with that epic uppercut. And if you're really looking for it to just stop momentum, it needs to be used on Kali almost religiously in team fights.
What he needs to be doing as soon as Kali is ulting, he needs to be mezzing. And then once the mez ends, there's an ultimate right there. That basically immunes every single part of Kali's ultimate. What he wants to do. And the next thing you know, you can win the team fight off that knowing the Kali ult is down. So that's why you pick this god. I mean, personally, I don't like the pick. I think Kumbhakarna is a really awkward pick right now as well. He actually picked a solo kill over in the solo lane. And that's what Kakolan does. He did transform him. That hurts.
If you are Gladiators, that is something that you did not want to see. Like, obviously, you never want to see a solo kill go in the way of First Blood, but Wally, especially on a god like Kukulin and the amount of pressure he can bring into these mid-game tier fights with early rotations, if he has a lead, is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the way that Jolly plays. Jolly is a significantly more passive mid laner than Zerg is. So Jolly tends, when Jolly, gets somebody big in front of his face, he tends to run away. So having a big Kukulin in front of him is certainly scary for any mid laner. But Jolly is tend to be on more of a defensive end solo laner, or mid laner, excuse me. So that could be something that Wally looks for. Again, with Wally in this lead, he's got to rotate early, use that Kukulin ult effectively. As here we see a gank from Teddy, has the ultimate available, does cut off the the dash from Hachiman, and no ultimate available for either player in the duo lane, and that's
Double kill.
tough.
That the KWM already off to the races. We didn't see this many kills in the first 10 minutes of game 4, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game, and KWM wanted to start fast, wanted to start just right out of the gates, and if you're going to do it, this is the way to do it. Get Teddy rotating early and often, get a couple of kills on him, get a couple of kills on Rome, and I think all of your carries at this point have the lead that they need. Your solo laner picked up a solo kill, is already ahead 2 levels at this point, now 1, about a level and 3/4, I want to say. And you already have, it will be a couple of levels, respectively, in that duo lane. Now, we do see Royal with a 1 level advantage on top of Teddy, even with that rotation. So,
Yeah, you tend to see this from Mr. Royal when the other jungler does gank, and this is how you know somebody's a good jungle. When the other jungler ganks, it's unfortunate, right? But what bad junglers do is they try to rotate after. They try to rotate the duo lane and try to make a play when the fight's already over. What Royal and, other good junglers do, they look for stuff on the other side of the map. They look for farm. They look for, I can steal this guy's back camps. Oh, I can steal his blue buff, his speed buff. Maybe get these mid camps. This is how you generate a lead in the jungle. So it punishes Teddy, and not that rotation was bad by Teddy by any means. It was a fantastic rotation. He got his team the lead. But it keeps Royal in the game. It doesn't make him fall behind. It actually gives him a slight lead, and that's what he needs.
agreed. And Wally has all of the control in this lane. There isn't anything Joey can do to even just attempt to contest whatever Wally wants. So we're going to see how Wally does here. He did get off to this lead in game 1 with the Nike and didn't really impact the game all that much. So we're going to see if he can't get a couple of early rotations, force a couple of just early team fights, and just get the objective-based driven Kittens with Mittens strategy that we all know and love off to the hottest start. They're already on that way.
The good news is he's not playing Nike. He's playing Kukulin.
Yep. But once again, like game 1, it wasn't the pick that was the problem. It was the play style. He just never rotated. He built a little bit weird, like we said, but with this Kukulin, I mean, he's naturally going to do more damage, and he just lends himself to having a lot more just kill potential. As Joey will fall. Teddy just rolling with it. Volcanic Lightning able to pick him up before Somersault Cloud will be able to go off. Teddy 2-0-1 at this point. Level 7 has evened up that level differential as Wally is just bullying Royal.
That's what Kukulin does, man. That is classic Kukulin, man. And
I mean, he's the guy.
This guy's potent when you have a lead. Very potent. And this is the exact start that Kittens is needed to get off to. Give Teddy a couple kills. Keep Royal, farming. Like, that's what you need to do. Keep Royal farming. Keep him on the back foot. Not really able to make plays. Because he is the catalyst for this team on Glads. When he makes plays, this team looks better. So, keeping them on the back foot. Jolly is going to play somewhat passive in the mid lane. He's not an aggressive mid laner. So you play around the side lanes. Keep Wally ahead and keep Rome ahead, and that's exactly what they're doing, and they're playing it well.
Yep.
Not only that, I'm head on like literally the most oppressive soul laner in the game, which is Kittens.
I mean, barring something like a Cthulhu, with the amount of pressure that God can bring and just the amount of what do I do against this, I think Cucullin is up there. As Teddy getting very deep, surrounded by 3 members, but nothing, no triggers pulled, no abilities used. We'll just walk back.
Cullen's the kind of guy that will literally be 2 levels behind and still get a pentakill. Like, I just don't, like, that guy just is so strong. he kind of suffers a little bit late game, but even still, his initiation is fantastic. I think that's the reason a lot of people pick this guy. Is because of how strong his initiation is. His ult's on a really low cooldown. Again, you mentioned like earlier that knockups are the best CC in the game, right?
No diminishing returns effect. You can't beads out of it. There's literally nothing you can do.
He's literally got a knockup as his initiation. His beast form makes this guy like he's got a push, a root, a tremble. Like this guy provides a lot in these team fights, which is why you see it picked up so much.
And it's soft CC too, so there's no diminishing returns on it either. You have to sit there through the entire duration.
Yeah, and in general, like obviously Kumbhakarna is not the god that I want to be initiating. I just don't want that god initiating my team fights unless he finds a wacky ultimate on somebody. But like, which is where you're lacking with this pick, which is why you pick the Cucullin. You have that initiation to help the Pele get in the backline. So.
You have that split protection that you want as well. Kumba can literally just sit on Roam and on Munchie and just make sure nothing can happen. And then you have just Choo Choo doing what he does best and is just in the middle of 4 people doing whatever he wants.
Yep. Kind of slowed down in this game now. We're already about 9 minutes in, almost 10. Slowing down a little bit. We're still having leads over in the solo lane. The levels have kind of evened out over in the duo lane. Nothing crazy has been flying, but
I think Teddy he needs to keep up the pressure. It's keep looking for ganks, keep looking for picks. He's kind of slowed down in the last couple of minutes. Not really anything happening, but I mean, you're riding high right now, man. Just keep the momentum going.
Yeah,
and keep.
And what's important too is don't make mistakes. That's the big thing. Is Kittens with Mittens going for a Gold Fury, knowing that someone had just backed. There could be a good opportunity for them pull, but they are definitely looking for a bait here.
Great knock-up coming out from Flame Drops just to make sure no other aggression comes through. Just holds it. As now the Gold Fury dance is being started.
Yeah.
Big Agni bombs able to come through. Flame drops very low. Tail whip will be used. Will fall as Jolly falls in the back to Teddy. Rommel comes through. There's not really anything skills he can do here. Is caught in the middle of 4 as destruction comes out. Teddy will fall and Royal will heal, but Wally's there to zone out the Kali as Livid Joey steps forward. Still has Somersault Cloud in his back pocket as Wally finds the solo onto Mr. Royal, and Livid Joey is caught out all by his lonesome. 4 members dead. This is looking like a Gold Fury.
Man, this is so tough for Glads. I mean, just a big momentum swing. This is a very low objective, though, and Joey does the smart thing, blinks in, automatically goes in the ult. I mean, look how low these health bars are.
Yeah, but there's nothing he can do when they all just group up as 4. That's what you have to do with your all low, is you either make him hit all of you and die, or you all run away.
His time, so they don't end up picking the Gold Fury, which is smart by Joey. He doesn't need to go in there. He just needs to buy time. That's what he did. Allowed his team to respawn. They don't lose the objective. Obviously, they lose the fight, which is big because now they're down 3K, and that's a tough way to look, especially with a Kali on your team. Got to keep Mr. Royal farming. He's obviously not nearly as far down as Teddy was the first game. But you need to make sure that this Kali stays at least, even or maybe slightly behind. But.
Yeah, no, Joey played that right. He did his job. Back him off of the objectives. That's all you can ask for with the last player alive and an objective in the balance. So good play by him, as chat is saying. And Gold Fury's still alive. It is still the objective of choice for these two teams. Is level 12 is hit by Little Munchie. He'll get that second relic online, which will be the Aegis. Start up his pin, restock on wards, and head right back out into the fight.
This game is going to be. I think this game is going to be a battle like the last game. The aggression has certainly slowed down from Kittens and MIttens. Yeah, they are sitting up about 2K, 3K, 2.5, and they have 8 kills. But overall, it's been pretty farming. No significant leads really outside of the solo lane, but Wally did have a pretty big impact in that last fight. Was able to get a couple kills on the back line, so which is important. But I think Gladiators has done a nice job of giving but not losing, in a sense. Like, they're giving what they need to, but they're not just letting them have objectives for free. They're playing it smart, they're playing it slow, waiting for the farming game to catch up, letting this Kali and Scylla get online. They're playing it good. They're playing preventative smite, which this team likes to do. So
as we are kind of seeing just this is the feeler moment, right, where teams are kind of feeling out, seeing what they can get away with, and it looks like Gold Fury is what Kittens with Mittens think they can do. As Rome rotates over, it is leashed back as soon as Skillsy and Jolly make their way over and show face. Gold Fury still standing strong.
They're not breaking. They're bending but not breaking.
And this is a 5-man grouping for both teams now, 14 minutes in. As Royal rotates over and clears that mid wave, and that looks like it will be the opportunity they look for, as Gold Fury is being turned and burned already at 50% HP. And it will fall. Kittens with Mittens have secured it as Joey and Flame Drops fall very low. Somersault Cloud will get up into the air. A little Munchie forced to use beads, and Aegis in the backline will fall to Crush as Jolly picks up a double kill, and Kumbha Karna falls into the passive destruction used. 1, 2, and 3 does not hit. Live It Joey's still alive. Mr. Royal finds the double as Rome is getting pressured now into the 1v1.
But which he will not win.
No.
No shot he's winning.
Mr. Royal with the triple. Kittens with Mittens get the Gold Fury, but at what cost?
And Jolly, nice crush over the wall. Munchie had no Aegis, gets a nice double kill with that crush. And Kidsman, like you said, they get the Gold Fury, lose the fight. This Pyromancer's going to go down, and that's got to favor Glads. I mean, that's a momentum shift right there. You just got Mr. Royal lead in the jungle as well. Jolly's feeling comfortable on the Scylla. That is, regardless of, them still being behind, it's all evened up now.
Even though Royal picks up the triple, don't get me wrong, we all know what Royal can do, right? I played with the man. Easily, like, these two junglers in this game are the best junglers in the league at the moment. But that fight is won by Jolly. Hitting that 2-man crush, landing the Sikkim, that fight is automatically won by Joey, as Teddy just says nope and goes in and gets Mr. Royal in the backline. Mez comes out, beats Aegis forced as Teddy picks up a double into the tier 2. Tier 1 still stands.
I'm gonna kill your backline.
Yeah. As Godson is basically just offering himself up. Now Livid, Joey, and Flame Drops are there. Wally blinks in. He lands the knock up on one. Flame Drops falls very low. Mez lands. Agni Bombs are there. Wally picks up Flame Drops in the tier 1. Somersault Cloud is used. Tier 1 does fall. And this needs to be a hard reset. Munchie just absorbing the damage. And this will be a reset. And, Kittens and Mittens say, you guys got us in Pyro. We can do the same thing, boys.
What a weird disengage by Glads. Royal gets caught out in the jungle, doesn't use his relics for some reason, and then Jolly just got caught. I don't even want to say no man's land because he was in his tower, but nobody on Glads seemed very interested in rotating to help out.
I mean, he did have 3 people around him. There's not really anything you could do with Volcanic Lightning, though. Like, you can't body block Volcanic Lightning. Like, we saw it in game 1.
That there wasn't a disengage fast enough. Like, it almost felt that, like, Jolly thought that his T1 tower was going to save him or something. I don't know, but awkward. Ends up paying for it. He dies. Loses both of his relics, too, so Kittens with Mittens can look at that as an opportunity. Once his dash is down, Kumbha can ult him, and that's essentially a free kill on Scylla. So,
yeah, it was kind of the wrong play by Jolly to stick around and try and sit in that tier 1 with a very low mana he did have. His Agni Bombs doing about 20% with 1 bomb onto Jolly.
It amazes me because, like, like these teams, like Kittens with MIttens, for instance, like as a team, they find success on certain picks, and then they just like go back and play a different pick. Like for instance, game 2, Wally played Sun Wukong, had perfect engages, looked great, and then they go back game 3 and play Nike. And I'm not saying that Munchie played bad on the disco at all. He played great, but why not just run back the Agni again? Like he looks fantastic on it. Like it's so weird. Like they want to like almost change their game plan. Like it's okay to run the same thing again, and that's what Munchie's doing with his Agni. He looks great on this pick. You can tell it's like one of his favorites. Like it's so awkward to me that this team is willing to try and go for other things. I don't know.
No, I agree. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That needs to be the mentality for a lot of teams. I think they try and make picks fit. And we did see the same thing from Teddy in the game 2 to game 3 transition with the Raven. Didn't end up working out in game 3, but you set a precedent. As Wally's getting very hard dove as destruction is used, Kumba ult forced, and little Munchie will pick up the kill onto Royal after the epic uppercut. Lurking in the waters is used to kind of split up the team fight, goes after Teddy in the backline. Jolly pushing forward, recognizes that Teddy is caught out of position. I'm a Monster is popped, will land. Teddy uses Volcanic Lightning to get out, but Skillsy is there with the mounted archery, able to pick up the kill, as that is a 1-for-2 trade. Wally and Teddy both falling, as it looks like Primal is now in the eyes of Gladiators.
And despite Wally having a very good early game lead, Joey has sneakily climbed right back up into that spot, and he's ready to create space like he's done all set long as the Gladiators, the first to start up this objective. Rome has his ultimate, so he does have a steal potential here, but Raindrops knows this, and his ultimate's coming out. Do they decide to leash it? They don't, but they do secure it anyway, as nice stoning by both tanks on the side of Glads, not really letting anybody step up to that objective.
This Scylla, man, I mean, it's all playing through her. Able to do enough damage onto the Pele and get Teddy out of the fight. Scylla just swings, dude. That's the one thing this god does, and it's damage, and you can't get hit by it, or else you are just going to insta-melt. And does land the Sikkim, does land the Crush, and the I'm a Monster just chunks Teddy, able to give Skillsy the opening in order to secure it. So, I think...
Or does, like... Mr. Royal just make people seem like he just makes everybody look great. Like I don't know. Like, and I'm not saying that Jolly or Joey are bad players by any means, but Joey from this season is a completely different player in a good way. Like he's played phenomenally, and Jolly coming in, stepping up. That's a lot of that's a big shoe to fill, big shoes to fill, and he steps in, looks great. I mean. This team, like, regardless of who they're playing with, Armor Wolf had to play in this set too. They've used their entire roster, and they're still competing regardless. And it's crazy to me, like, that they're able to do that. Like, you just don't see that. Teams.
No, and kind of what we started off at the very beginning of this set, we were talking about it, where Kittens with MIttens has a roster of just very solid players across the board, right? Wally kind of looking on the little lesser of the tier list for them, but I think that was just really the Nike pickup. I think it was just the God picks that was coming through. We've seen great things from him from the Sun Wukong. We've seen great things from him in this game from the Cuckoo. But on the side of Glads, it all goes through Royal and Skillsy. These two are the precedent. They are the ones that are going to set the pace for this team. And Royal does a great job of just making everything easy for a team, right?
Yeah, he really does. It's crazy, and this is no knock on like anybody that plays with him, because like everybody just looks good on Glads. I mean, like I said, I've been really impressed with how Joey's played pretty much this whole set. I mean, outside of the one maybe bad game he had on King Arthur, he's looked great. In this game, he's come back from a very tough deficit, and came back, looks good, making plays on his own. I mean, that's just something that you don't see from every team,
Nope.
And, regardless of the outcome of this, I think Glad should be happy with how they've played.
Agreed.
You don't expect to come into a set using two different subs and expect to be this competitive, but
having your main carry player throughout the season play support in those first two games and then transition to carry.
Yeah,
like
you don't expect to be that competitive, and they have not faltered really at all. Like it's been close throughout. And on the side of Kittens with Mittens, I mean this team has played together for a while and they look good doing it too. I mean, Munchie's really stood out to me. I think, obviously Teddy is Teddy, but Rome had a fantastic last game. There's so many good play like this. There's regardless of who wins this, the MVP is going to be ridiculously hard to pick because, like, you want to vote for Teddy and Mr. Royal, but you look at the supporting cast, you'd be like, well, Godson had a fantastic games on the Emoji and the Ymir, and Live Joey did a great job game 1, and on the Sun calling it looks really good. Like it's so hard to pick, anything, and it's crazy.
And Little Munchie on this Agni has made a very, very good name for himself, especially the Discordia from last game too. Like looked very, very good, and it is going to be difficult, and we're gonna have to have your help here, chat, in deciding at the end of this set which one of these players does eventually end up getting that MVP trophy. And I don't think us as casters could make that decision. I have a couple of people in my head that I think have kind of stood out throughout this set, but the supporting cast, like you're saying, is just, it's ridiculous. These teams, all these players are stepping up and making the plays that they need to.
Yeah.
I mean, Flame Drops, even the last 3 games on Sobek, just the plucks that he's been able to find, the peel, just everything has been on point.
Like there's no these are 5 players of top caliber, and this is something you won't see next season. These teams will not be together next season because of how well each individual player has played, and that's just crazy to see. As Gold Fairy now being spawned, Kittens with Mittens around the objective, but so is Gladiators, and this is going to be a turning point in this game. Who can win this fight? Gladiators down 2K, but that's a manageable deficit. So let's see what Wally's able to do as Joey blinks into
double knockup. Mr. O misses the stun, does get caught out, and doesn't get destruction off, insta blown by everybody. Livid Joey sitting up in Somersault Cloud. I don't know if they know that he's there. He dies on top of Little Munchie, drops very low. Pridwin proc does happen. Aegis comes out, but Teddy's able to pick up Jolly in the back, but trades his life out. Flame Drop's able to pick that up. Livid Joey's still lurking behind, looking for Munchie.
No ultimate available, but he can still maybe make a play here if he decides to. But
and
it looks like he's back up.
They elect not to go for it, as the bombs will be there for the secure. Oni Fury falls. As Kittens with Mittens, very close fight, but Teddy and Munchie do what they need to. Jolly and Royal are the 2 big picks you need to get off this board to win fights. And Scylla just insta-deleted by Teddy in the back line, as well as Mr. Royal dying with destruction up. Man. As Pyromancer, they all rotate over. Rome is the one that you need to be there, and Godson and Rome look like they will be able to take this, but Joey is the local, does send something out, as Skillsy is there as well, and it looks like Pyromancer will be leashed by both teams here.
Godson very low on HP, he can't take that. Here comes Raindrops around the back, and I don't think they see this Sobek at all. He might be able to make a play around the back, but meanwhile, Kakulin diving the back line, and they're able to secure that as Raindrop's looking for a pluck. He does get the pluck on Kakulin, but really nobody is there to follow up off of that pluck. He's kind of in no man's land right now. He's going to get rooted by Kumba, but the amount of damage Hachiman is bringing. Here's a Mr. Royal around the back onto Munchie.
Great stun. Destruction does get popped, but Godsend is there and will fall, giving Royal the double. Finds the triple. So Jolliver insta-deletes Teddy, and that is a 5-0 in turn for Gladiators. And what will they elect to do with the time that they have been given? It looks like there's going to be a grouping in mid to pressure this tier 2.
Man. Do they go for a Phoenix here? That is the question. 30 seconds respawn timers. Godsend's the closest with 20, but that's a Kumbhakarna. I can honestly care less, and looks like they're opting to go for the Phoenix.
And that's good. With the banner down, you have Kali there. Everybody able to utilize the banner from Hachiman as well. Are they going? They're going for an end.
They're going for an end. Very low HPs across the board, but
8,000, 6,000, 5, 4, 3, 1. That's your set. Glads take it. 27 minutes in, your season 7 champions, Gladiators.
Man,
wow.
What a way to end out the season. Oh my god. The amount of balls it takes, like I don't know if I'm making that call, but they there was no indecision, no hesitation. They said we are ending this game right now, and that's what they did. Man, what a set. That is, there's nothing else to say about that. That's just incredible.
That is it. What a crazy way for this set to end. And I don't think anybody, both watching or us casting or even the players, I think could have expected that game to end that way. The moment 5 people die, you think, okay, right? They can go for fire. If you're Kittens with Mittens, honestly, you think 5 people died, they're going to go for fire, they're going to back, and they're going to group. And Gladiators say, no, we're going to get this at least a tier 2 and a Phoenix. And the moment they say, we just burned that Phoenix, let's go for the end. And you know they were all screaming it. Just focus Titan, damage Titan, DPS everything. And beautiful play. And honestly, rides off of the back of both Royal and Joey in those fights. Royal doing so much, able to find 2 kills in the middle of destruction and just blows people up. Jolly coming in.
Jolly gets the ultimate off too before Teddy can literally do anything off the bat. And
Skillsy, just 16k, man. 16k damage.
He was the silent killer, I think, throughout the set. When he was playing the Rama, I mean, he was the reason they were staying in those fights. And I think he had a sneaky but fantastic set all around for
Agreed.
him. But no knock on anybody on KWM. I mean, that was a battle till the end. Like they should be proud of, their season and how they played. They unfortunately can't, get the dub, but man.
I mean, it's one of these teams, right? They're all undefeated. One of them had to lose, and Gladiators came out swinging. They won game 1, and it went ladder leveled all the way there, and it stayed that way. They played that game fantastic, that last fight, not dropping a single kill. All 5 members still alive.
Wasn't it alternate? I don't think anybody won 2 games in a row.
Nope, it was ladder level. Glads, KWM, Glads, KWM, Glads.
Wow.
Beautiful play all around from everybody here. And just wow, man, that set was wild.
Yeah, that was probably the best set that I've seen in Valhalla personally. I'm not sure how the Thor set or any of those went, but Odin's what we're here for, and Odin's what we got. Those are the 10 of the best players in the league that you are going to see, and they certainly showed up.
Definitely. And nothing more you could have asked for. I mean, that is a 5-game set, best smite that we have in this league. Beautiful competition coming around.
So the question is now for the chat and
chat.
We
got to pick one too.
Yeah, I have my MVP. But anybody in chat have a specific MVP from Glads? I see Skillsy's. I think Skillsy had a great set.
Agreed.
All around. I mean, especially switching from 2 roles too. I mean, I don't know if I can give it to Jolly. He only played in 1 game, guys. Come on. He was a big part of the game, but I do see a lot of Skillsies.
Skillsy, sneaky, Skillsy.
Jolly too.
I with who we have. I mean, there's 68 people here. We don't have a lot of votes in there right now. Raindrops gets a vote in there. Skillsy.
Jolly. Hashtag Jolly Diff in the mid lane.
All right.
Who you got, Groundhound? Who's your MVP?
Personally, the heart and soul of that team. I think nothing happens without him doing what he does. And the games they lost, he fell behind, wasn't able to assert his dominance. I would have to go with Royal. I honestly think Royal is the catalyst for that team. If he gets ahead, he does what he wants, they win the games.
I know this might be a little solo lane bias, but I'm actually gonna go with Joey on this one. I think Joey had, again, not the flashiest solo laner that you'll ever see, but he played fundamental smite from the solo lane in every single game he played. Game 1 looked fantastic on the Cthulhu. Throughout the set, the Sun Wukong was deadly on the backline. I mean, he looked great all around. I see a lot of, like you said, Royal. I think it's great to mention. I mean, I mentioned it during the cast. Whoever Royal seems to play with, he makes them look really good, and they look really good. And that's impressive. I mean, that team played their entire roster, and that's something to really say. So.
I mean, I think right now with the chat, I think honestly it's between Royal or Skillsy that we have our votes for. I
believe it's Royal and Skillsy are between. Those are the ones
between those two.
I've seen a lot of flame drops actually too. So
let me. I'm gonna direct message somebody really quick. Give me a couple of seconds here.
They brought Jolly to be the closer. They were just letting Zerg get some playtime. Jolly was the closer, bro. 2 sets in a row, Jolly did close it. He did close it out. I'll give him that. 2 sets in a row, he did close it out. But
just DMing a couple of people here. Give me a couple of seconds, seeing what the next step is. But what a set, dude! Like, oof, back and forth the entire way. And I think Game 4 is honestly the closest game that we had in that set. Just nail-biters all around.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I've seen more Jollies in the chat than I have seen Royals, which is like impressive. Will be hashtag Jolly Diff will be trending on Twitter.
I mean, like we said, Jolly was the ringer. He was the one that they brought in. I mean, if you want somebody to play Scylla, Jolly's the pick.
He was the closer. Yeah, I cannot stress it enough how impressive it is to win with your entire roster. They had Armor Wolf playing Skillsy switched between 2 different roles, which in its own makes him an MVP candidate easily, playing 2 different roles in the same set, and 2 drastically different roles too. He played carry and support; those are 2 completely different roles. He looked great. You've got Armor Wolf, who played the first 2 games. He looked good. You've got Jolly, who came in as the closer. I mean, this whole team played
lights out. Both of these teams, I think, brought everything they had to the table. And what a set to cast. Thank you for joining me, by the way. This has been an absolute blast. And it's crazy, man. I'm still waiting on a couple of DMs here. We're gonna see if they respond in the next couple of seconds, but I am waiting on a go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and just close out Smite really quick. I'm on the screen now. Crazy.
There we go. I don't know. My stuff just seemed to pass out. Apparently, my internet is like, yeah, we're done. But did Glads announce who
their team chose Royal as their MVP? I did message them after the set ended and asked them for that.
Royal was their MVP. Well done, boys. Well done.
I don't know why my camera is so out of focus. I just need somebody to respond to me.
Nobody wants to respond to you.
Nope.
That's tough. Anybody else excited in the chat? Anybody excited for MVP is snooze eating while casting. I was eating a majority of the time. I'm gonna be honest. I was hungry. Okay, leave me alone.
You want a Joe cam?
This was dinner time. Okay.
He's asleep in the chair.
Who is?
Joe.
Your dog. Oh.
Oh, Joe's asleep in the chair.
Yeah, that's right. Don't you live with the people from Valhalla?
Yeah, Chewbacca is my roommate, one of my best friends, and Joe is my fiance's best friend.
Nice.
Joe's actually the one that got me into the league, man.
Yeah, so you can yell at him whenever he has like stupid decisions, right? You just like go to him and be like, Joe, what the heck?
I express my personal opinions. I don't enforce anything. I don't yell at him. I just say, hey, this is what I think, but here you go.
Crown Hound's really the man behind the screen.
No. Don't give me that. Not chat. That's not how this works. I'm sorry. No.
We all know that's cap.
I don't want to start getting DMs from people, homie. That's not what I'm about.
If you guys have any problems with the league, Crown Hound, he'll get it to you. He's got a direct line to the.
No. I'm just a lowly caster, guys. That's all I do. Okay. I just respond to my DMs. Come on. When he watched it, it's a movie on Netflix. I think my fiance put it on, but it's charming. It's an animated movie.
That's a great frame to pause on, huh?
I know. That's why, like, when I looked at my camera and my playback, I was like, "What is on the television?" Alfred, no. But all right, cool. I got a response. Let me see if he wants to do it.
If who wants to do it? You should go wake up Mr. Joe and tell him to do his job. You're slacking.
Let me see what Mr. Royal wants to do. Let's kind of transition.
Can we get an interview?
That's what I'm setting up right now.
All right.
Mr. Royal isn't a Sentry, so he won't be able to join anything, but we can hop down to a VOD review channel and just go ahead and get that underway. Let me let Royal know.
He joined the interviews thing.
We can do that. Yep. Transition over there. Mr. Royal, Captain of Glad, Season 7 champions. How's it feel, bud?
Oh, it feels great, man. That last game was wild.
Yeah, it was a wild set. I mean, back and forth the entire way through, man. Let us know that the mentality of the team. Obviously, you guys communicate. You guys are a strong group of guys. You went through your entire backup roster. What was the mentality going in kind of the transition? We saw Skillsy start off in the support role, transition back into that carry role. What was the mindset between how the teams interacted and what going forward?
Yeah, so for game 1 and game 2, we actually planned it. So Skillsy's a pretty good Ganesh, and I believe he's better at Ganesha than raindrops, or flame drops. So we decided to put him in for the first 2 sets. Put him on Ganesha. It seemed like Kittens struggled with it last week. So we used our sub there in Armor Wolf. And then for the last game, honestly, Jolly honestly Zerg had to leave for work. So big shout out to Jolly for stepping up.
Yeah.
Best subs.
It's good that Jolly was there, step in.
I mean, he survived early. That's his damage all came late game. That's what we needed.
Now, okay, my question is, who made the call to end the game? The last game of the set.
I think we all did. It was like we knew we 100% we got a Phoenix. But and then people started doubting it on the way up there. But then I think I called that Kuma was like the only one up for like 20 some seconds, and everyone else was 30. So at that point, I'm pretty sure we all knew that we just gamed.
Sneaky called it. Don't let him lie to you. Skillsy's out in you, bro.
I mean, our solo Livid Hoey actually wanted to back up there. But Skillsy and me are just on next level communication. He didn't even have to talk. I saw him fragging. I was ready to frag that last fight. It was great teamwork.
It looked like it, man. Like we were saying it pretty much throughout the entire set, or especially me playing with you guys last season. I know you guys are IRL friends, playing with each other through many, many years, played countless games with one another. And putting you two in the carry roles for these teams really kind of helps the synergy for everybody involved. You kind of spread the wealth, so to speak.
Definitely.
Going through that, man, you played Guan Yu a couple of games. What was up with that?
It's honestly something I've been practicing throughout the week. It's been working well, but it just seemed like it just wasn't. They were like either prepared for it. The emoji was really good into it. It seemed like the Thorns pick up the second time around wasn't doing much, especially to Rome. He was just fragging me through it, man. That guy's a beast.
Yeah, true.
I have a question. So I personally, no offense to you, because I think you're a fantastic player, but I had my MVP as Livid Hoey over there in the solo lane. What did you like? What was it like teaming with him, and like, because he looked like completely different from what I saw like last season compared to this season. He looked like a completely different player, and he played like really well, in my opinion, throughout the set.
He's a great solo. I believe it was game 3. He just dominated that solo lane on the Sunwoo. His Sunwoo, like they had to pick it away from him, or he was just gonna frag. And then I feel like I was actually game 4. I'm sorry, but game 3 on his rat game, I feel like I kind of costed, right? Or am I getting this mixed up?
I think the rat game was game 4.
Okay.
Rat was game 4.
Yeah, he's popping off though. I mean, you got what, 2 level lead? He actually soloed him for first spot. I'm pretty sure that third game on the Sunwoo.
Yes.
His Sunwoo is untouchable. Best Sumo Kong I know.
Deadly Sunwoo. I wanted to see more Cthulhu, man. I thought he had a really strong Cthulhu.
It is strong. I do agree we should have picked him more, but that's hindsight.
Yeah, no, I mean you guys won regardless.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, Joey is actually a back-to-back champion. That is true.
Yes,
he won last season.
Joey and Jolly are back-to-back.
Jolly didn't win last season.
He was in the season 5 roster. Well, I guess not back-to-back, but Jolly is a 2 times.
Yeah.
The 2-time.
Jolly's a 2-time. Joey, can he make it back-to-back? But
yeah, 3 times.
But my final question, man, how does it feel winning it with? I mean, I know you and Skillsy are really good friends playing with the roster. You guys didn't drop a single game in the regular season, if I'm mistaken. And going up against, I mean, it was a little rough in those semis. I watched game 3. I casted it for you. I know that much, but that was was it a little bit concerning coming into the finals, or did you feel confident that you guys were going to pull out the dub and then kind of go forward?
We felt very confident. We've done a lot of research. We've been like 5 days in a row. We've scrimmed master level teams. We've played with Jolly. We've played with Armor. We've been ready, like prepared to use the subs. We've been prepared multiple different comps. We drafted multiple different comps that we thought they were going to pick. 90% of the comp was correct. So that helped us a lot in picks and bans. I believe we were just more prepared.
Anything crazy that they threw out at you that you weren't expecting, or was it everything that you expected them to play?
I think the support surprised me the most. Like actually seeing like someone be able to play Yemoja that well, and the Ymir for that fact.
Yeah,
like really insane. Like, usually don't say it, but like I think he won them like the late game fights on those picks.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We were talking about it during the cast. Like the first game, he had a little rough, but there were moments of brilliance in the first game on the Yemoja, and then the
game 4
eventually ended up banning it. But yeah, the game 4 Yemoja was fantastic from him. So
that's actually how our drafts developed, because we didn't end up planning. We thought they would just pick Yemoja the entire set. So they valued it a lot, but they didn't pick it game 2. It wasn't picked or banned, and then I believe they picked it game 3. They stomped us with it. It was a great pick. So we were kind of questioning, like, because the Ymir the Ymir is a great pick too. Like when they picked the Umoja and Ymir, they were fragging. So we kind of like contemplating which one we should have banned, and then it just like it was like we're kind of discussing it back and forth, and those final games, game 4 and 5.
And I have 2 questions just to kind of end this interview, unless Snooze wants to hop in for one more. First question is, why no Erlang, bro? Come on.
Oh man.
And Thanatos. Actually, I do have a quote. Why no Erlang and Thanatos?
Man, for Erlang, the nerfs to his 1. I really don't like it. Like the increased mana and the less damage. I think Erlang would have been great. Even that game 3. But I felt confident in our team, or the game 5. I felt confident in our team getting the late game with that comp. So I just for early game picks, I was definitely looking at Pele just to take it away from Teddy.
Your Pele game 1, man, was ridiculous.
Sunwoo and Pele seemed to be the contested picks like throughout the set. Like who had the Sunwoo and Pele.
Yeah, we planned that going into. We were pretty scared of his Pele. We considered that his top 2 picks was his Pele and Tsukiyomi. So just me being able to play the Pele and take it away was huge for the comp. Like the entire series, to be honest.
Good stuff. And last thing I'm going to need from you is I'm going to need you to yell respectively Poggies really quick.
Poggies?
Yeah, just yell it. So let me hear
Poggies!
it. There we go. Awesome.
Wait, I have one more question because Alpaca has literally been spamming this in the chat. What is it like to be carried by Jolly?
Carried by Jolly? It feels great, man. Jolly's great. He literally came in the semifinals last week. Played game 2 and 3. We lost game 1 with Zerg. So Jolly's fucking fantastic, dude. He's a great mid.
Dropping the F-bomb on chat. We're all good. But man, Royal, I appreciate you taking the time out to come hang with us and answer a couple of questions, man. You played lights out. Congratulations on the champ. And looking forward to season 8, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for 4 too, man. Try to get some of the same roster. Get the run back.
Right? Go for the back-to-back 2-time.
Can Livid Joey 3-peat with Mr. Royal? That is the question. That might be a deadly
man.
duo
That's a story thread. That's the story for season 8.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for the interview.
Alrighty, chat. Snooze, man, thank you for joining me on the cast. Thank you for joining with the interview, a whole 9 yards, dude. It was a blast. And
that was great.
Chat, thanks for kind of hanging around with us. It was a grueling 5-game set. I mean, we've been live for 4 hours and 40 minutes now. So thank you for sticking around with us, keeping it interesting, talking in the chat, talking with us. And you know what we say. We love you guys. You are what makes this community awesome. And looking forward to season 8. It's going to be a great time. And y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Snooze, you too. Hey, you got any closing remarks?
No, I'm excited for season 8. I actually will be a player in season 8, so hello everybody. But I'm excited. Obviously, like I said, I think we saw probably 10 of the best players in the league in this final, so it was a great, set to watch. And I'm excited to see what season 8 will bring. Who can step up this season to, compete? And it's gonna be a good one.
Completely different meta, completely different strategies all around. So, looking forward to it. Thank you guys. Thank you, Valhalla League. And we'll see you guys come season 8. Have a good one. Love you.
Yeah. See you guys.